It's a bright Monday morning. Welcome to the AM News here on the AM Show. My name is Pakwesi Shando. To a very first story, several communities in the southern district of the Volta region have been submerged following last weekend's downpour. Many homes and properties at Tefle, Kotavi and its environs were ravaged by the flood water, leaving at least one person dead. Residents say in spite of assurances of a swift intervention, NADMO is yet to provide relief for residents of Sugakope and its environs. Benjamin Amekuja is an assembly member for the Tefle community.
This is a flood that is being dangerous for Tefle people here. Yeah, the last time rain fell, a lot of homes were covered with flood waters. So what we're seeing here is a very big flood that runs through the town into people's homes, and we need assistance to get the flood out of the town. Drainage systems must be put in place to take the water out of the town.
So far, what steps have been taken by your leaders?
Yeah, leaders are in the known. The other day when this disaster happened, I called the NADMO people. They came and took photographs and they left. And they told me, together with the chairperson, that they will be giving assistance in forms of mattresses for people who are being displaced, and they never returned.
They never came back?
They never came back.
Have you tried to reach them?
Yeah, I tried to reach them yesterday, but the calls were not going through.
How about your MP?
Yeah, I called MP. He's yet to arrive. But this he told me he will be in town on Monday to assess the situation. Yeah. So that the floods...
How often does this happen?
Oh, it's perennial. It's every year, twice a year. Like what we're doing now, this June, May, thereabout, then we see flood in town. Yeah.
So what's your appeal to your authorities?
Oh, we appeal to even hydrological department in Accra. They came one day, they give us a gutter in town, but not this one. This one is not, they don't have financial muscle to do it for us. So they told us later. So it's about 12 years now, they never returned from hydrological department from Accra to help us. So that's where we have. Government must help us to come out of this calamity. If not, lives will be lost again. Because people get drowned. Even somebody drowned yesterday at Potama through the flood. Yes, at Potama. And that place is Tefle Potama. It's part of this community. It's traditional area.
How often do people lose their lives from
Quarterly, people get their life lost. People died through the floods. They lost properties, cattle, chicken, all gone through the flood. Yeah. The goats are all gone. Yeah.
How urgent do you need a solution to this?
Immediately. We need the solution to this problem immediately because we don't know what happens tonight. Rain can fall again heavily. And it's not going down, it's coming up into people's homes. So we need assistance now. Yeah, government has come to the aid of Tefle people so that we can also see the share of the national cake.
Let's do some NPP election stories next, where re-elected chairman of the New Patriotic Party in the Oti region, Evans Dapa, is asking party members to work harder to break the eight and also win seats for the party in that region. According to him, the Oti region, by extension, is a soft zone for the opposition National Democratic Congress and will require hard work to break the NDC's hold on the new region. Peter Seno was at the regional conference that elected new leadership for the party in that region and has a wrap of events.
Saturday was a remarkable sight to behold as supporters of the New Patriotic Party, contestants and delegates converged at the Yabram Community Day Senior High School at Dambai in the Oti regional capital to elect new crop of leaders for the party. Entertainment was not left out of the activities as bobobo, brass music and other forms of performances characterized the day to keep spirits alive. Food and beverages were also in abundance. Then it was time to cast votes. Then counting. Supporters would not allow for wholesale counting, but one position after the other to ensure nothing untoward happens. The incumbent, Evans Dapa, and his closest contender, Ajay Intim, who was the first vice chairman of the party, were captured in pensive moods. But a word of victory was in the air for the incumbent. Results were declared.
I declare Mr. Evans Yaudapa duly elected according to the results.
And swearing in done by Daniel Kwakudente, the Regional Elections Committee Chairman. For some of the winners who spoke to JoyNews, it was hard work paying off. Here is the youth organizer-elect, Prince Amano.
In 2020, the good work that I did in this region has really paid off today. And I'm never going to relent. I'm going to fight. I'm going to make sure that breaking the air is not just going to be a mere slogan, but it's going to be an effort that will yield results.
For the regional treasurer-elect, Joseph Buka Dente, it was confidence reposed in him for a job well done over the past years.
How did I do it? It is not my strength. It is by the strength of God. It is by the blessings of God. And the fact that the delegates believe that the properties of our party, NPP, that has been entrusted into my care, has been handled very well. Money and other resources. So they have reposed so much confidence in me as a treasurer, and they have maintained me with a very, very good margin.
Being in contact with the grassroots, according to the regional organizer-elect, Felix Ade worked for him.
It's hard working. I was in touch with the base at the grassroots of the party, and I promised them and pledged that I was going to support them by all means. So that is it. That was the magic. So the base gave so much pressure to the delegates to elect me. So this is how come I made it.
Some elders of the party have expressed their satisfaction about the conduct of the elections.
I like it. The way the voting went on. I like it very well. It is very good.
It was very, very beautiful. Very, very organized, well organized.
For the party chairman-elect, Evans Dapa, it was a difficult task getting re-elected. He wants all on board to win seats in the region for the party, as the party lost its only seat to the NDC in the 2020 December elections.
Well, actually, it was a Herculean task. It wasn't easy for me, but by the grace of God, I'm here today to be sworn in as the Oti regional chairman for NPP. The battle has been very tough because all sort of allegations, the fact that we've not been able to win any of the seats in Oti region. But I've always said one thing, that Oti region is an NDC endemic area. By extension, it's still Volta. That is the truth. That is the truth.
Daniel Kwakudente is the chairman for the Oti Regional Elections Committee. He is also satisfied about 10 of events.
In a nutshell, let me say I am so happy that we have come to an end of this particular program, elections without any hitches, no rancor, no acrimony.
Just before we go, though, the elections were not without selling and buying of votes. Peter Sanu for JoyNews.
Upper West Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, SB Kangbere, says the decision of delegates to retain him as the party's chair will give him an opportunity to correct mistakes he made in the last 4 years. According to the retired lecturer, his retention means the people have goodwill for him and he needs not to disappoint them. Mr. Kangbere pulled a total of 130 votes to beat his challenger, a 49-year-old Toyiba Mahama, who managed 112.
The signals were clear, and the writing clearly written on the wall that many of the incumbent regional executives seeking re-election will be defeated. The question that remained unanswered, however, was which of them will survive the elections. 24 persons filed their names to contest in their bid to unseat them from the 10 executive positions they are clinging on. 135 police personnel drawn from all units of the police service, led by the Upper West Regional Police Commander, DCOP Peter Ndekurana, were positioned at various locations to ensure that nothing untoward happened at the center. Equipped into teams and neutrals and heavily controlled and supported by unseen political forces within the region, each of the teams came to the venue, though on the quiet, but with lots of vigor and hope. 49-year-old Zamzam mineral water magnate Alaji Toyiba Mahama, who on 2 previous occasions had his chairmanship ambition flame out, was the first to saunter into the voting hall in hope to be 3rd-time lucky. The pomp and pageantry that characterized the campaign of heavyweight chairman S.B. Kangbareye 4 years ago was missing, but his contagious smile was at play as he walked to his seat. Members of the Council of Elders kick-started the voting process, and within 4 hours, all the 242 delegates had voted. S.B. Kangbareye retained his chairmanship position with 130 votes. His challenger, Alhaji Toyeba Mahama, got 112 votes. S.B. Kangbareye said it is an opportune time to correct mistakes made in the last 4 years.
Well, I will just have to look back. They say hindsight is the best teacher. I'll look back, see where I went wrong, listen to the people to advise me as to where to go so that I don't make the same mistakes again. I see there's a lot of goodwill for me. A lot of people want me to succeed. So I can count on that and build on it, and we move forward to break the 8. That's the important thing, breaking the 8. I believe that with the youth with me, we will certainly go there.
Alhaji Abdurrahman Aziz was also retained as the party's first vice chairman. Cletus Ampenno did not have same luck as he was defeated by former mayor of Wa, Alhaji Aziz Mohammed Gado.
Those who know me know that I can work with anybody. I look at what I have to do and not at the person I'm dealing with. I know the party has a project, and that is the project I'm going to focus, helping my chairman to go through so that in the end we all take the glory.
The position of the party's regional secretary went to Dr. Daniel Tanku, who for the past 8 years was the regional treasurer of the party.
I bring experience. You know, the first time that I won as regional treasurer, I worked under a different regional chairman. Then the second term, a different regional chairman. Now I'm going to work with the incumbent chairman. So with the experiences that I have gotten from both chairmen, I think it's going to help the party and myself in the administration of the party in the region.
There is also a new phase in the regional organizer's position. He is businessman Alaska P. Kantong, who defeated the incumbent Mustafa Ibrahim Gobe together with 3 others. Incumbent Nasara coordinator Osman Mohammed, popularly known as Zongo Governor, lost his position to Ali Mohammed Munir.
In the Ashanti region, Bernard Entribuesaku, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, has been retained. He pulled a total of 464 votes to beat his closest contender, Odinihu Kweku Apia, who garnered 306 votes in an election filled with controversies. The 3 other aspirants, Asari Bediaku, Kwabna Owusu Adwumi, and Oheniba Edumbewa, managed 31 votes between them. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
Look at my flyer, organized, and I lost. International Yanko, and I lost.
The election of regional executive was marred by controversies as voting was suspended twice over an unresolved election register. The atmosphere remained tensed when the 2 leading aspirants protested decisions of the regional election committee chaired by Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah.
If we say that they are not going to, and I'm
Team Wontumi broke into wild jubilation after the counting of ballots from the first of 4 zones. That commanding lead ran through all the ballots counted from other zones. Bernard Entribuesaku says his victory should send a strong signal to the opposition NDC of the party's preparedness to break the 8 with a promise to unite the party.
Idea here for 2024 no a unity. My name is regional executive Sinanamu. Ne ya shebo se Obi a wujina ye bia no nya no krese olusu. Ebe de na party papa say oya campaign na dru ba bia on kasa emfantia. E wo musa nya sa na ye pe no. Nemom edru ba bia esen ne katre makro edru ba bia na ka. So obi ye boni a for 2024 breaking the age sake. My name is regional executive say yedi ache obia. Na dia asie no. Adia asie no. Atrasa NPP. Our campaign of breaking the age have started from Baba Yara Stadium. They cannot stop us. NDC, you cannot stop us. You can spread the scandalous name about NPP. You can spread the scandalous name. You can lie. You can propagate. You can bring fake news. But winning the 2024 elections, is movement. It is a movement. It is a movement. It is a movement. It's stronger than apartheid.
6 of the 7 incumbent executives retained their seats, with only first vice chair Kwabena Century falling out. 3 new entrants won positions. One of them is Victoria Osu Echang, second vice chair elect.
And I thank all NPP members, especially the men. They promised me that today they will make me a queen, and they have done it. This know that our party, they like gender. I know that many people they are saying that I haven't get anything from the party. So I'll go down and beg them for them to listen to us for the last time, because.
For JoyNews, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
In our last story, a UNESCO report estimates that 1 in 10 girls in sub-Saharan Africa misses school during their menstrual cycle. Many girls drop out of school altogether once they start menstruating. Some girls at the Bomso Basic Schools in the Oforiko municipality of the Ashanti region are no different. Lady Pharmacist Association of Ghana, LAPAC, has therefore taken the initiative to supply free sanitary pads to the pupils.
LAPAC, an interest group of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, is made up of all registered and licensed female pharmacists in Ghana. LAPAC is involved in advocating for women and children's health issues such as campaigns on menstrual hygiene, cervical and breast cancers, and reproductive health, among others. The donated items include 2 months' supply of sanitary pads for each adolescent girl, bathing soap, laundry soap and detergents, as well as tissue paper and food items and water. There were contributions from members and Wilma Ghana. The association also educated the adolescent girls on menstrual hygiene practices. The exercise forms part of activities to mark the World's Menstrual Hygiene Day in Kumasi. Dr. Mariam El Bwachi JC is project lead, Menstrual Hygiene Project.
So the Lady Pharmacists Association of Ghana, we are into health advocacy and health promotion, especially for women and children. And this year, 28th of May, is Menstrual Hygiene Day. So we picked the Bomso Basic Schools because we realized that it's a local authority school, and then most of the girls here, we have reports from the chef coordinator that during their menstrual period, they do not come to school because some of them feel shy, some of them don't even have the pads to use. So we chose them as the school for our donation this year. This is the launch of the event. Similar events will take place across Ghana by LAPAC. So across all the 16 regions, this event is happening. So it's just a small way of contributing to society and to encourage the girls to be able to come to school when they have their period.
Oforiko Municipal Director of Education, Mrs. Dorothy Oparibedu, urged teachers to take the girls through the sewing of reusable sanitary pads and menstrual beads. She believes it will be particularly beneficial for the underprivileged students.
We have different ways of doing them. We have different colors. So we have the 25 beads, and then 5 of them consist of the red. So and there are others. So they have to research and then know of it and then teach the children. And I know with the help of the teachers, the children will be able to make it. Some of them, the background where they are coming from, the resources to buy these items, it's difficult for them, a very big challenge. So when the teachers teach them how to use it, I think it will go a long way to help them.
Some of the beneficiaries were happy the gesture comes in handy in their menstrual hygiene practices.
It is really going to help us in many ways, especially how to use the pad, because some of us know how to use it, but others do not know how to use it. So I think it is really going to help us, especially with the primary students.
That's all for today's edition of the AM News here on the AM Show. The show continues with Benjamin and Bernice. Well, let's get into the papers. Let's talk about the latest that the papers have to deliver. We'll be joined also by Suleiman Abrahima, Executive Director for the West Africa Media Foundation for West Africa. And we'll be getting into the rest of the papers here as well. But let's quickly do this. Let's have a bit of a reflection on the NPP's regional elections. Picture of our democracy? Is that a snapshot of who we are as a people? I was just sharing with some colleagues before I came here on air that whether NDC or NPP, I mean, EIU reports in the past and other things that, come year after year point to the fact that people in political circles are becoming more and more interested in pumping money. But the question is, what do they get in there? For which reason? If you are coming to serve, why would you want to pay your way to service? It doesn't happen in other jurisdictions, Ghana for. So if it's happening here, it must mean there is something in leadership, whether at the constituency level, regional level, even down to the grassroots, the NDC will call it the branch level and all of that. Whether as a minister, whether as a member of parliament, why are they willing to pump so much money into the enterprise? You're reflecting too, right? It's because of the chop. The chop. I've said it. That is it. And so you would hear of people giving out cars. Yeah, you heard me right. A car, a truck, and all of that. People are doling out money. In the Ashanti region at the Baba Yara Stadium, we had someone, offering libation or invoking curses on anybody who may, participate in certain things or do certain things. We have a long way to go as far as our democracy is concerned because our politicians, those in political circles, are having a field day. And when they do these things, you can guarantee they will be corrupt because they must recoup those sums of money. And guess where they're going to be recouping them? From the contracts, from the contributions you and I make. They dip their hands into state coffers and things that should come to us, health facilities, road infrastructure, other kinds of infrastructure, better service, we do not get. We're one of the countries with the most expensive when it comes to, phone calls, data, and all of that. Yet, what kind of service do we get? Recently, the BBC had, a bit of a piece that they put out. And Ghana, we are practically the most expensive country in Africa and likely on the planet. It's absurd, isn't it? You look at the living standards in a place like New York in the United States and reflect on that, juxtapose that with what we have here. It's sickening. I mean, Ghanaian leaders, we can do better than this. Anyway, my quick thoughts for you as we usher in a beautiful Monday. Sometimes I get exasperated. And sometimes, I get people telling me, Charlie, avoid some of these subjects because, this and that. But Obianka, so and a country broke, country no broke, we day inside. Ibiso. Suleimana, I see you in the background. A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, Ben.
I don't know, I've been going on and on about, some of the happenings as far as the recent elections, regional elections of the NPP. And yes, peace, calm, mostly, predominantly, which is a good thing. But the bit about money and politics is getting worse. And I was asking, I don't know whether you heard me before you came on, why would people be willing to expend so much in terms of resources just to get a position to serve the people? It's because of what is in there. It's because of what they will get. And we're just creating a vicious cycle of corruption. I'm sure you followed. Saloon cars, trucks, money being doled out just to get votes. So that's the story in the Daily Graphic. The banner headline, NPP regional elections, 12 chairmen retain positions, new faces for Bolo East, Eastern and Western North. But your quick reflection, even before I get into the details of the story.
Well, it's good that the elections have been conducted largely peaceful, even though we hear or we heard about a few incidents in certain places. To a large extent, I think that it was quite peaceful. And I would just want to say congratulations to those who won and better luck to those who couldn't make it. Better luck for them next time.
Or should we say, Suleimana, better cash for them next time? Maybe with the right resources, they'd be able to cross the line.
Well, the truth is that our politics is just a money-making venture. So those who go into politics, basically what they are doing or what they are saying is, I'm going to look for money if my party wins. And those who are in power, it's about how much wealth they can amass. We all see what the late Sir John, had been able to acquire within the short period of time that he was given the political position. I don't think that anyone can say before he became the CEO of Forestry Commission, he had no house or something like that. But we're talking about, if you look at the houses and when they were acquired, 2017, 2018, 2019. And I believe that if he was still alive, perhaps we would have seen additional houses, maybe additional forest reserves, and so on and so forth acquired. And people have said, look, if this is what Sir John made, then there are others whose will look as fat as the Bible or the Quran. And so it's just money making. And those who are there, young or old, know that I am going in or I'm into this to make money. It's no longer about serving the country. I don't think that any of our leaders today is really committed to serving our country. If it were the case, I don't think that we would have been seeing the kind of things that we see today. If President Akufo-Addo was indeed committed, to serving this country in the best of interests, I don't think he would go and be demolishing houses to construct a cathedral. I don't think that the levels of corruption that we are seeing, we would see it the way it is now. I don't think that we will have a minister outside the country for 8 months and still hold on to her position as minister, and a crucial ministry as that of women, children, and gender, social protection. So I think it's more about the enjoyment of the power, enjoyment of the money that comes with it, the opportunity to be able to amass wealth and all of that. And so those who are happy, they deserve to be happy. It's an opportunity for them to make as much as they can make. Those who are sad because they couldn't make it, I think they are justified in being sad, because that's a major loss in terms of how much they could come to make. And that is the politics that we have for our country. And that is why I keep saying, those of us who are relatively young, we do have a responsibility to come together, work together, to make this our country better. I don't think that the betterment of this country is about just a continuous cycle of replacing NDC with MPP, MPP with NDC. We've seen both parties, and I think it's all about making money. And we know people in the NDC who were, occupying certain positions, and suddenly the houses they have, the properties they have, and so on. So there's nothing different between them and the NPP, except that some of us had hoped that President Akufo-Addo, given his track record and his stature and what we were made to believe about him, would have offered us different leadership. But it appears that somehow it's even getting worse.
Well, getting into the details of the story, after 3 days of suspense, drama, tension, and surprise-filled elections, 12 incumbent regional chairmen of the NPP retained their positions after the party's regional delegates conference. However, the incumbent chairman in the Bono East and the Western North regions could not maintain their positions. In the Eastern region, the incumbent chairman did not seek re-election and a new face emerged. So look at the Bono East region, look at Western North, where the incumbents lost their positions. In the Eastern region, the incumbents stepped aside. And so in those three regions, we have new faces. And there's also the bit about the Central region, which is outstanding due to a court injunction. So those who have been retained, very quickly, Divine Otuagohom for the Greater Accra region, Bernard Entry-Boisiako, aka Chairman Wuntumi in Ashanti, Nuruddin Fusaini in the North, Northeast, Anthony Namo Upper East, those are the ones retained. There's also Kwabna Owusu Setre in Ahafo, Mohammed Adam Bantema Samba in the Northern region, Idris Sulemana in Savannah, Kwame Bafo, aka Abronye in Abono. There were some claims that maybe the NDC was trying to support his main opponent to get him out. True or not, well, Abronye actually won in Bono. The rest are Makafu Iwanya in the Volta region. There's Evans Yaudapa in Oti, Sambai Kangbere in the Upper West. And so those are some, and it's particularly interesting in the Upper West situation with Kangbere, because he had said that he had failed in delivering some of the things that he had promised, but that he wanted a second term to do it. A pretty elderly fellow. And it appears the people bought into the message and gave him a second chance. So details there on that story. There's also channel idle funds into Africa's development. President Akufo-Addo tells wealthy nations. And also on the same page, page 16, Urban Roads introduces secure drain covers. Interesting reading that, I mean, makes quite, it gives you a lot of food for thought, isn't it? 21st century, we still have very narrow gutter systems and no coverings. But let's quickly take a look at those two stories and have Suleimana react to them. Channel idle funds into Africa's development. President Akufo-Addo tells wealthy nations. And he has called on wealthy economies to rechannel a portion of their special drawing rights, SDRs, sitting with the International Monetary Fund, to Africa to help fight hunger and food insecurity. It will also augment health provision in the face of the challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russo-Ukrainian war. On the other end, Urban Roads has introduced secure drain covers, and the Department of Urban Roads, that is the DUR, has embarked on an exercise to replace existing drain covers with newly designed metal grids which cannot be removed easily. According to the DUR, the new steel grid covers currently being piloted in Accra would be replicated in other parts of the country. Now, here's why. Wanton theft of metal drain covers in the national capital, which is blamed on the scrap metal market, has been posing a danger to motorists and pedestrians. You go through some places, it's been taken off. If you're driving and the place is a little flooded, you don't know, your car gets damaged, or you as an individual could fall into it because you can't even see the space. Suleimana, your reflection on these two. The president says, channel your funds that you're not really using in the coffers of the IMF to Africa. That's what he says. Your thinking?
Well, I think that is a good appeal, is a welcome appeal. Of course, we all want a better world. We want a better country, and we would wish that every country is doing so well. People are living in good conditions. People's welfare is improved. Unfortunately, I get quite worried about, again and again, I will talk about leadership. We've seen money and money and money come in. And what have we used it for? In the course of last week, I had the opportunity to meet a number of people from other countries, from countries that we would describe as wealthy countries. And the point consistently they make is that, look, we are here and we see your ministers and your government appointees live in luxury better than appointees and ministers in our country. Meanwhile, we give aid, we give grants, we give loans to your country. Why so? And I'm like, well, maybe it's the mentality. And also because we haven't had a leader who really wants to transform this country and therefore would put our resources into better use. If we are asking that wealthy countries should make available more to African countries, yes, it's a good call. During COVID, wealthy countries made available significant amounts of money into our country. What did we see? We saw contracts being awarded for needless spraying. And these contracts were, some of them awarded by the presidency. The same president who is urging that more resources be made available. When more resources was made available, what did we see? We saw fumigation contracts, needless. We all knew this was not going to do anything, but just so that people will make money, we awarded fumigation contracts to a company. And to fumigate in districts where there were available equipment to do the same kind of job. Is it what we want the foreigners to bring their money for us to use it for? The World Bank made available hundreds of millions of dollars during COVID. What happened? We knew very well that we were claiming that we were providing hot meals and so on and so forth. It was an avenue to loot from the people, to loot from the state. I mean, what was that whole essence of saying that we are preparing, meals and put them in takeaway packs to distribute to people? How many people could you reach, and for how long could you provide that kind of service? We knew it was a way to loot from the state. So for me, until we are able to be genuine in our commitment to develop this country and know that, look, as a human being, what am I going to use 100 houses for? What am I going to use Achimota Forest for? What am I going to use Ramsar site for? What am I going to use these houses I'm acquiring in East Legon and in Cantonments and in Rage and so on and so forth for? There are people who are donating to this country who may perhaps own just one house and maybe a small vehicle. But here, one person wants to own everything, and yet we would still be saying that, oh, send us more, send us more. When people are living in poverty, we see women carrying loads on their heads within the traffic lights, selling, ministers, we see them, and so on. So for me, I really wonder when people talk like this, whether they think the people they are speaking to don't know, how corrupt we are and how abusive we are with the resources that are made available to us. So yes, it's a good call, but I don't think that under our current circumstances, even if billions were to be made available, we would see any transformation. It would just go into people's pockets, and people would want to acquire houses in the US, in the UK, and we would want to even collateralize, what should be there for the future generation.
I wish sometimes, so two things. I wish sometimes that the West would do us a lot of justice, like we have seen with Yaya Jammeh, a house worth $3.5 million confiscated in the United States. Hopefully, it could be sold and the resources, acquired from there, given to the state of Gambia. If such things were done, we know Asamesi has this property in the UK, in France, and all of that. We also know Asamesi's salary. Asamesi, come to France, justify. How did you come by these resources? You are not able to justify. We auction the property, we sell it, send the money. I don't know, but it may also be, it may have no effect because the same state you're sending the money to will end up not using the money for anything. That is why I get worried. Good call by the president, but when the money comes, should these people decide to give us the money, where is the money going to go? And that is a major problem. And for these leaders who want to acquire so much wealth, like we've seen, you're saying that with Sir John, it could be this big. Someone's will could be as big as a Bible and, with property that only God knows how they acquired. But what future generations are you? People want to acquire wealth for unborn generations, 10 generations to come. if we don't build the country, which country would those people come and, even inherit this property in? I don't know how our leaders think, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that even Kwame Nkrumah, and in fact, the others who came after Nkrumah had taught the way or had behaved the way our recent leaders have behaved, maybe Ghana would have been non-existent. I think that perhaps they would have even sold the country. And I think it is just the poverty mentality. I was listening to somebody who was talking about the act of leadership, and that you measure your leadership by the number of people you are serving and not how many people are serving you, how many people you are empowering and not how much power you have. And I reflect on that and I say, look, we have leaders who think that they want to get all the money so that people can now serve them as kings and queens. And I think that it emanates from the poverty mentality, the slavery mentality, and so on. I just hope that one day we would have a leader who would say, look, I don't care if I'm going to go one term. If at the end of 4 years, people are going to get me out, so be it. I would want a situation where after I leave after 4 years, within a short possible time, people would start remembering me for what I did. Kwame Nkrumah was in power for how long? For just about 6 or so years.
We all remember him.
We were not born. You and I were not born. Several generations were not born. But today, we still talk, we still celebrate Kwame Nkrumah. If my father or my brother or my cousin were to be a president, that is the kind of advice I would give. I would want that after you leave, our family will be a proud family. Our family would be one that you go somewhere and they mention your surname as being associated with a former leader, and you are so proud.
Right.
I wouldn't be happy that my name were to be mentioned one day and it's about a very corrupt leader or somebody who occupied a state position and used it to amass wealth and so on and so forth. But that's not what we're seeing.
That's exactly what we're seeing. And I'll just wrap on this tangent with the bit about the Conduct of Public Officers Bill, which hopefully will be dealt with. It's going to be presented to Cabinet, and hopefully something will be done about that, because it talks about how public leaders shall declare their assets before assuming office. But since 1998, we found ways of going through the system. Act 550, if I'm correct, has given people a 6-month window. And what it means is some get in, and within the 6 months, they may declare, and others, most of them, will simply not declare because they know what they're going to do. Well, it is what it is. God have mercy on our country.
Well, interestingly, I think that all Ghanaians should watch out in the next this week and the coming weeks. My colleagues working on our Fourth Estate project would be releasing data on appointees since 2013 who have declared their assets and who have not declared their assets. And you know, assets declaration is by law.
Right.
And I would expect that if, for example, any minister or any chief executive under the current regime is exposed as having not declared his or her assets, the president would fire them instantly. That would be my expectation. But as I said, all is set, and people should follow the Fourth Estate. And in the coming days and weeks, a lot of revelations are going to be made in terms of from the judiciary to the CEOs, to the ministers, and all of that. Ghanaians will get to know those who have declared their assets and those who haven't declared their assets.
Suleimana, be sure to share that list with me ahead of, so we can take a look at a few things. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, Kotoko silence Mediama Atakwa. The Finder newspaper. Access Bank records impressive growth performance across key indicators. AFDB adopts 10-year strategic plan to revive African economies. Core mixture to unlock $32 billion herbal medicines market for Ghana. That's according to the CEO. And Baumia loyalists win big. Picture there of Dr. Kangbere Bernard Nchibwesiako, that is Chairman Wuntumi, and Divine Otu Agohom, all of them, as well as Benjamin Ama. Those stories in the Finder newspaper. Let's do the Daily Guide now. And there's MP's boy caged over 800,000 Ghana cedi recruitment scam. Picture there of Prince Esiedu, Efriye. That story is on page 6 of the paper. 5 gold robbers nabbed. Wontumi others sweep regional NPP. And Ghana gets new cardinal. Yeah, that's one to celebrate. Let me go to page 6 for those stories. So there have been a number of cardinals that have been appointed in recent times. It says the story is on page 6, but this is a continuation. We also have, so I'll give you full details of that story. I actually have it somewhere on my phone as well. Aha, there it is. So Bishop Richard Kuya Bawabr from the Catholic Diocese of Y in the Upper West region, and pardon me, Your Grace, if I murdered your name, has been named among 21 new cardinals of the Catholic Church in Rome. So that's the story there. We have a new cardinal coming from our stock. We had Derry. We have now Peter Cardinal Turkson, and now we also have another one. But the other story I wanted to look at on page 6, an aide to the Member of Parliament for Ekrima-Nwabieja South constituency in the Ashanti region, Emmanuel Ajay Anhre, is cooling off in prison remand for engaging in a recruitment scam. He has been remanded into prison custody by the Inkarie Circuit Court, presided over by his Honor Nana Brew, for taking various sums of money from residents in the area, amounting to over 800,000 Ghana cedis, with the promise of recruiting them into the various security agencies. I feel, Suleimana, that this is one of the major threats to our security. This whole bit about people even scamming others or taking money to foist those people on us in our security services. We talk about the terrorist threat. I feel that in itself is part of the terrorist threat. I don't know what your take is.
No, absolutely. Over the years, the infiltration and the recruitment of unqualified persons, and you know, people tell you about, you know, sometimes even the quality of the trainings that people receive and pass out. It can be quite worrying, and it's a reflection of the ethical and moral decadence of our society, where everyone wants to make money quick. And again, when I talk about the fact that leadership matters and people say, oh, you know, the general Ghanaian attitude is not something that, you know, that's true. But I think that it takes leadership to gradually build a certain moral fabric of society. If I am a leader and I'm conducting myself quite well, and my followers know, look, this is how things are going. If I do this, I may get into trouble. And they also begin to act well. Their followers would also follow suit, and it will cascade down. And so I think those of us who are in leadership positions have a lot to do. And until we are able to change the moral etiquette, the values, and so on, look, we should forget it. We would go down and down and down and down. But again, it takes a leader who would come and give us, you know, that kind of leadership. Ministers will be afraid to do certain things. CEOs will be afraid to do certain things.
Right.
Directors will be afraid to do certain things. And the civil servants will be afraid to do certain things. And gradually, I'm sure that we would get there.
Okay.
And those of us in civil society, we are also leaders, and we need to also play our roles. And I would just want to also add on to the congratulatory message to the new cardinal. I think that is a very exciting news. I have always been applauding the Catholic Bishops' Conference, and I keep asking people, all these people who have served their Lord so loyally and faithfully to the point where they get to be appointed as cardinals, you know, isn't it surprising that we don't have any of them saying, I am prophesying who will win the election, I'm prophesying who will die, who will not die, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And it is all those who one day just gets up and call themselves reverends and ministers and pastors and so on, who are the ones that God then decides to bless with those visions and all of that.
Right.
I think that Ghanaians need to also wake up and not allow themselves to be continuously deceived.
Right.
It's part of the problems that we have. I think religion is also another major area to look at.
Maybe not religion itself, but how we exercise or practice religion. Just as politics is not dirty, it is the practitioners who make it dirty. That's the problem. Whether Christianity or Islam, extremists or whatever, you read the Quran and you realize that it's saying one thing, and those who are also saying Sharia and I must do it this way and stone people and all of that are seeing something totally different. Anyway, wrapping with the next few stories. The Ghanaian Times captures a story because all the others are stories we've got into. So I'll just highlight this. Lawyer shot dead on Bole Bamboy Highway. It's reflected in Republic Press. So let me read what the Republic Press says on page 10. And here is why it's important to me. Was it really armed robbery or was it something else? Police in Bandankwanta in the Savannah region are on a manhunt for 3 armed robbers who shot dead a lawyer traveling from Accra to Drapa. Reports say upon reaching a section of the road, listen to this, between Bandankwanta and Nwayiri on the Bole Bamboy Highway, the robbers emerged from the nearby bush and signaled the vehicle in which the lawyer and his relatives were traveling to stop. There were other vehicles. They signaled this particular one to stop. One of the armed robbers immediately shot the driver of the vehicle, Richard Badombia, who is a lawyer with Latte, Badombia and Co-Associates, located opposite Roxy Cinema at Adabraka, Accra. The robber had asked whether the passengers on board were police officers. After shooting the lawyer, they tried to open the doors of the vehicle as the car had veered off the road and hit a tree. But a bulldog in the car barked at them and they bolted. Something doesn't make sense. They could have shot the others. They didn't. They went immediately for this lawyer. From what I gather, this lawyer has been critical of establishment. So, armed robbery or what would you call that? Assassination? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think these are very serious matters for us to speculate about. I would say, well, let's wait for police investigations.
Oh, definitely. I am not saying that what I am saying is the absolute truth. But just as with the situation to do with Ahmed Hussein Swale, I mean, till today, we don't know. Were those people sent or was it just coincidence?
Yeah, well, I would say that, well, we all have confidence in the new police administration. And again, talking about leadership, we see what leadership means in the appointment of Dr. Akufo Dampare and the very short time that he's been in charge of the Ghana Police Service. We have had a few incidents here of concern in Koranza and so on. And I am so confident that given the leadership that we've experienced in Dr. Dampare, we would get to the bottom of those developments. I believe and sincerely believe so that if a police officer is really found culpable, I really doubt that the officer will be shielded. And matters like this, if indeed it happened to be an incident of assassination, I should think that the police administration will get to the bottom of the matter and unravel what is behind it so that we all get to see the truth and know the truth about it. I just hope that Dr. Dampare would continue to get the support and he would remain the Dampare that we know and provide the leadership that this country deserves as far as law enforcement is concerned.
All right, so Ghanaian publisher, BNFT, The Custodian, all reflecting stories we've already done. Maybe I'll just add this. My good old Professor Stephen Ade, launches Gimpa storybook, 2 others. That story is on page 6 of the BNFT. But I'll wrap with you with maybe your thoughts on this in some 30 seconds and we can go. Law school elections at the Ghana School of Law and some of the things I have heard emanating from there. Interesting. The future lawyers and the things that are happening in there. But anyway, this is just me musing over some things. I think I've got to the point where not much surprises me in this country anymore. Not much surprises me anymore. Your final thoughts in some 30 seconds, and we're going.
Well, I think that the moral decadence is everywhere. Everyone wants money. Leadership at all levels have been compromised and corrupted. We hear about mixed elections, even university SLC elections. You know, it's all about politics and NPP is behind this, NDC is behind this, somebody swears himself in, another person goes to court, and all of that. And that should tell you that unless we reverse, unless we begin to do things right, the future of this country looks really, really bleak, because the people we have today as elders really have the morals and yet are leading us in a certain direction, and we are also copying blindly. And in the future, it will just be the survival of the fittest that will reign. That will be what this country will be running on. If you survive, if you are fit, you survive. Otherwise, no one cares about the other. It's about me and my family, and how much we can make, and that's all we are seeing.
Okay.
So let's continue to pray for this country. Let's do our best. You and I, let's continue to speak our mind, because as I said, there's nothing as fulfilling as being able to speak your mind. But you can only do so if yours is not sold, because if it is sold, it will be remote controlled. And every day when you open your mouth to speak, you'll be thinking how to please the buyer of your mind and your brain. And that's the most terrible thing to experience.
Inshallah, we shall continue this course. Thank you so much, Suleimana, for joining the conversation.
Thank you for having me. Have a great week.
I wish you same. And that is Suleimana Brahima, Executive Director, Media Foundation for West Africa. That's how we wrap the news review. But up next, we serve you sports. Stay.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AM Sports here with me, Muftawo Nabila Abdullah. Kumasi Ashanti Kotoko is a win away from winning the Ghana Premier League for the first time since 2014. The Porcupine Warriors won 2-0 against Midiama SA after going 3 games without a win. And what it means is that with Hearts of Oak dropping points against Kaola United later today, Kumasi Ashanti Kotoko will be celebrating success in this year's Ghana Premier League.
It's Midiama versus Kotoko in the Ghana Premier League. And here Midiama go in search of the opening goal. Danlad Ibrahim to corner for Kotoko. Imoro Ibrahim delivers. There's the header, and that's the opening goal. The Porcupines are up by 1-0. In 23 minutes, it is Andrews Kojo Apeo.
They are away from home, but they are here in their numbers. That is a massive, massive goal for Kotoko. Imoro's ball into the far post. It's a really good corner kick by Apeo. It's a towering header that is coming with his power.
Looks for support. Akwesi down so handsome. Now here is Justice Mensah. Mensah! On his left foot is missed from close range. That certainly could have been the equalizer. Samuel Boateng sets up Mudasiru. It is Mudasiru. Here is a Tuga. Oh, what a goal! Amazing finish from a Tuga in Bella. His 20th goal of the season.
They turned it into gold here in Takwa. And it's precise with the finishing. Picks the top corner with his weaker foot. 20 goals in a season, no fluke. Brilliant goal scorer, Etuga.
Last weekend, Kotoko were beaten with 10 men in Kumasi against Chelsea. Donsu! Danlad makes a save. And the rebound flies high and goes out. Kotoko have won 11 times, Midiama have won just 4 times. Kojo Samoa! Brilliant save, Danlad Ibrahim, and there's a clearance. Anoba and his charges. Corner taken. Danlad makes a bold save. It's over!
3 matches more to get the Ghana Premier League, but the women's competition has come to an end, and it is Ampim Diakon ladies who have won the competition for the first time in their history, ending Hazaka's ladies' dominance. They won 5-4 on penalties.
With
Quite a lot of incursions being made. Doris Bwedua coming in with his effort, being well saved by Safia 2. Veronica Apia followed. She was caught by the goalkeeper Safia 2. And then Success Samiye had to convert after the sport cake had been awarded to Hazake's ladies. Despite trailing, Ampem ladies were not sluggish. They continued looking for those opportunities, and that is where they equally had a penalty kick, ball converted by Comfort Yebua. And she came through with this lovely celebration. Safia to Salifu. Veronica Kuma, she misses. Veronica Kuma misses for Hazake's ladies. Ladies convert, it would be all over. Has rescued her side. She has done the crucial save. Champions League for this season. Sewan Kwanza Ophelia. She sends Ampem Dakwa ladies. What an exciting, what a great moment, what a rarity to behold. They've been beaten on 4 occasions and they have done it. The last time that they won is the Women's Premier League Grand Finale. A finale deserving of champions, a finale that has proven that indeed women's football has come far.
I'm Pindakwa ladies who will be representing Ghana in this year's CAF Women's Champions League. But let's talk about number 12. And on Friday, the Ethics Committee of the Ghana Football Association announced that former Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, Ibrahim Sani Dara, did nothing wrong in the allegations leveled against him by Tiger IPI and Anas Almeyao Anas. Joyce was caught up with Ibrahim Sani Dara, and he says the decision of the Ethics Committee has restored his image, though the allegations did not damage him that much.
For me, it answered a lot of questions that have been bothering me for the past 4 years.
What does this mean to you, Sani?
It means a lot. It means that I can carry on with my life, because in many instances it held me back in some ways, even if not anything, in thinking. I'm a human being, so sometimes I'll reflect. I've lived an upright life since I was born. I've tried my best to be a good human being, to be a good role model, to set standards, to ask people that work with me, whether those that are superior to me or junior to me, to live upright lives, and to be seen in this way robbed me of that authority, so to speak. It has now, by the ruling of the Ethics Committee, that confidence has been restored, and I can now carry on with my life. For me, it was not those people that watched it dispassionately will tell you that there was no truth in the allegation. They said, for me, it was not that damaging. First of all, within me, I knew that what they were doing was false. It was calculated. I knew that. So within me, I was satisfied. And the only thing was people who were outside and didn't know the truth. Yeah. For them, people might harbor doubts. Yeah. For them, I needed to prove to them that it was not true. But in the industry that we are, I don't think anything affected me negatively. Why? Because I had got my life planned out in many, many ways. I was running my own things and all of that. So there would be a difficulty to say it had completely damaged me and beyond repairs. I had the same colleagues, I enjoyed the same company, and the same people that supported me from day one are the same people, and they knew me. They didn't change towards me. If anything at all, they supported me the more. For me, it was a blessing. It was a blessing because it gave me the opportunity to explore many other things that I had not done, that I had the opportunity to do, that I could not do. It gave me the opportunity to explore all of those things, and I'm thankful.
Tell me something brief that has to do with the period and now. What has changed between? Now let's do stories that has to do with sports equipment, and the Minister of Youth and Sport, Mustafa Yusuf, in conjunction with Africix, will be donating sports equipment worth $150,000 to Ghanaian school children. We caught up with the founder of sports equipment in the person of Umar Idrissa, and he says the decision to donate to Ghana is simply because they feel that the sport has got a potential to grow with the right investment.
I'm here in Ghana to donate 40-foot container worth of shoes, soccer kit, soccer equipment, clothes, toys, books for the people. We've been doing this for 10 years now. In 7 countries, 233 villages, over 172,000 pair of shoes donated. The most important, growing up with no shoes and now be able to live in Los Angeles, I feel blessed to bless my people. Not only just my country, but other countries in Africa, also to motivate all the diaspora, no matter where you are, in China, Europe, America, Canada, Australia. Think about those people that we left behind. Whatever you can bring back home to help somebody is a blessing.
What are the boxes behind you?
All these boxes you see is the brand new shoes, toys, soccer ball, book that here for children, school supplies, and many more items that we came here to donate.
Welcome on the AM show. We get into our big stories now, and we start with the very first one as we analyze, we assess the NPP's regional elections. What has transpired so far, and what does this bode for the party moving forward? Joining us for that discussion, Dr. Kwame Asante. He's a political scientist at the University of Ghana. We also have Pope Yao Yevo, Volta Regional NPP Secretary. Gentlemen, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining the conversation.
Yeah, good morning.
Great. I'll start with you, Doc. So what is your assessment of the entire enterprise, apart from the central region where elections on the back of that injunction have not been held? In all these other regions, we've had casualties, we've had new winners, new entrants, but we've also seen a retention of many. Some pockets of violence or activity that wouldn't have been expected. And there's also the bit about money in our politics. Your general assessment of the elections.
I think you've summarized everything. We've seen ugly spectacles. We've seen, the rebuilding of the party. Some of the leaders have retained their seats. It gives you an idea that the people who are working on the ground are solidly behind them. It also brings in new energy, and it puts the party on a sound footing for the battle of 2024. We always hope and pray that we don't get the ugly spectacle that you and I don't want. But hey, when we are dealing with human institutions, these things are to be expected. I hope that the party will take political notice of this and then work against it to nip, if possible, nip those phenomena in the bud. It is interesting to know that the party, in spite of all their difficulties, they are getting their regional executives elected. It's a good thing. It gives people more hope. And then it also makes the party more attractive to people that, hey, all is not lost. We are in to build a solid party to fight the battle of 2024. So it's a bit of pluses and minuses, but I I hope that by the time they get to election of the the MPs and then the flag bearer, we are not going to experience the negatives that you and I don't want to see.
What were the highlights for you? Did anything in this entire enterprise over the 3-day period shock you or take you by surprise?
It is becoming more interesting that, look, the violence that characterized the initial elections is going down. And for me, as a political watcher, that is more gratifying, that it appears to me that the political elite within the party have started talking to people on the ground that, look, you go to a political contest, just assemble your team, do your homework, and you either win or lose. So I'm sure that a message has gone, or a word had gone wrong, a word had gone round where, people are now listening to the leaders and all that. But the other side is that why do we still have the incidents that we don't want to see? That is the homework for the political elites. They should be able to address this so that we can have incident-free elections and all that. I am also happy about the renewed energy for the youth and supporters of the party. It gives the party hope. And for me, as a student of politics, it also tells me that the parties, for that matter, the NPP, is becoming stronger by the day. That is something that we expect all political parties to do, so that we'll have solid parties that will stand the test of time. But you see, apart from elections, we must move into action, that whatever they promise us, they must deliver. You can have all the fine candidates elected. You can have all your supporters well put in place by the electorate. If you are not able to govern, you are not able to deliver on promise, I'm afraid all these things will come to naught. So much as they've comported themselves in this election, I expect them to also lend their support to the government so that the government can deliver on its numerous promises. Let us remember that if you check the manifesto of the NPP, there are a lot of promises that the party made during the 2020 election, and we expect the party to deliver come 2024. So they have a Herculean task that they should not lose sight of. Once they lose sight of this, I'm afraid the battle is going to be difficult for them, even though they know that they claim that the battle is the Lord's and the Lord is behind them. But in politics, it's the reality that will really win the day. So they must be careful about this.
Let me come to Pope. Pope, thank you for joining the conversation. When you look at the pattern in the Volta region, not too different from what we've seen. Wanya winning the chairmanship slot, and you are now secretary. I mean, how did that make you feel? I mean, getting the nod of the people, and what did it take for you to get the nod? Do we have Pope with us? Hello, Pope? Yevu, okay. Can you hear me?
So can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
All right. So thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished viewers, and congratulations to all regional executives elected. Yes, I feel humbled by the victory, the landslide victory I had with other colleagues. Humbled because this is a privilege that myself and other colleagues have been given to serve the party at this level. You know, I have been a grassroots person. If you check the background, I got into the race barely some 12 to 10 days into the race. But I came out with a landslide victory because I am a grassroots person. I've been with the party people right from my days as a constituency secretary, becoming at the same time when I was constituency secretary, I was a deputy regional communications director. I became the regional communication director, and I've been everywhere in the region. And so when my candidature came up, which was suddenly predicated on calls from the grassroots themselves, I think that, and certainly, of course, because of my message too, they bought into it and voted for me the way they did.
So it was your message that got them to vote for you. And of course, interesting dynamics in there because you are a former communications director, now secretary of the party. And like you said, within a short span, you were able to amass this number of votes to secure the slot. But beyond your popularity in the party, in the NPP, if it comes to resources you had to expend, what can you tell us about that?
Well, if you check if you do your investigations, I think that I keep saying that politics is not always about money; it's always about those resources that people must spend. Because when I went around, I told people that politics is now more about relationship. Because when I looked at the polling station and the electoral area elections, where people give and others don't give, and yes, those who don't give, they win the elections. I keep saying that politics is now more about relationships. So for me, if you check, you realize that I have to just give something small for TNT, and that's the end of it. And it's about relationship really, because the people keep telling me, Pope, if you don't give us anything, we'll vote for you. And that has encouraged me so much. When I went around, I don't have so much to give them, but I've won the election. So basically, we must begin to at politics more on relationship issue, as a relationship issue, rather than people thinking that it's all about money. If you can get your reporters to verify for you that if there is something to spend, I should be the lowest, the lowest in terms of expenditure. But I've won the elections based on the relationship that I've built with the people.
All right. So now that we're talking about expenditure, how much did you spend?
I
mean, that's a very simple question, isn't it? It's a question that, especially as you're talking about your being the least spender and all of that, it shouldn't be a problem telling us, actually, I was the least spender. I spent this. I mean, we know how much we spend in politics, so it wouldn't be new to us.
You see, I don't, like I said, I haven't spent so much, because when you talk about politics, in terms of expenditure, you are not just looking at probably what you give out to people, your own movement, your posters, everything that you did, all of this involve a little bit of money. But I can tell you that I haven't spent more than 30,000 to get to where I've gotten to.
Okay, you didn't spend, so you spent just about 30,000, not more than that. At most 30,000 to get the slot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right. So at most 30,000 CDs. It comes to the fore because we've seen other things. You didn't contest for the chairmanship in the region, but others did. And we saw the sort of largesse, the sort of free spending. People talking in the Ashanti region, and I'm just going to try to avoid names. People talking about the fact that vote for me and I'll give scholarships to your children or whatever to the United States. That's not going to be an easy enterprise. People giving out, look, finish, if you can give proof, you get a free vehicle, saloon car, or a truck. People doling out money and all of that. What do you feel that says? What picture does it paint of the leadership of your party as elected over, from the weekend, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? I mean, how reflective of that is, are these people the party wanted, or is it money taking over the NPP?
Well, if I can situate whatever you said in terms of the Volta region story, I believe that even my chairman, Honorable Makafi Kofi Wanya, who won the elections, he won the elections based on the relationship he has built with the people. He's been a grassroots person. He started as a constituency organizer, treasurer, 3 times constituency chairman, regional second vice, parliamentary candidate, regional organizer, then regional chairman in the last 4 years. and then now regional chairman again. And he's been with the people. So for me, basically, when it comes to about the expenditures we're talking about, the things I hear, the Volta region here, I can't speak so much of the things we are talking about in terms of the expenditures. So for me, we believe that the elections basically is almost about the politics, the victory. Basically, ours is basically about the relationship that we have built with the people. Because see, we as a regional executive in the last elections, we went around the polling stations, and this is the first time you can check from the country that we as regional executive, myself and the regional chairman especially, we've been to every polling. We've done what we call the regional tour, the polling station tour, the electoral area tour. And for the first time, you get to see polling station executives and electoral area coordinators having an interface with the regional executives at their level. We went through this to give them targets, we assured them of the party's victory and the rest. And so for me, that is what has worked for us. Because when it comes to money, I don't have one to spend. And so I have campaigned on what I've done in the past and what I will do going forward. And that is what has worked for us. So for us in the Volta region, there was nothing like go and vote and come for A, B, C, D, and the rest. All that we have done, it will help a little bit so that the people can get to the grounds and early and vote for us. And that's the end of it.
Would you say the same that worked for the rest of those who won? These relationships that you claim won for you? Or is that just unique to you and your chairman?
Well, it cuts across because my chairman, the first vice, the second vice, these are people who are always with the people. In the Volta region, let me tell you this. We believe that there is a saying, as an aware, you know, let me put this so that probably I will translate. To which you don't know somebody for a very long time, and in the night when you see the person, you want to lit a lamp to see the person's face. And so that has been something that's cultural about us, that people, when they know you, that you are for this principle and for this culture and for this reason, whatever the situation may be, when the odds are against you in terms of money and influential people telling people not to vote for you and all those things, they will still stay with you. And so for me, there were places I went to, I just mentioned some of the delegates, their name, and they tell me, Pope, we are going to give our vote because we don't want to come to the regional office looking for the secretary, and the secretary will begin to ask us, who are you? Once I'm able to identify myself with them, they are going to vote for me. I went to places, I want to start talking, they tell me, Pope, with or without a message, we are going to vote for you. So my chairman, for example, this is somebody who is very, very generous to the core. He's been there for party people, doing a lot for them, solving their problems for them and the rest. The first vice, the same, the second vice, the same, my assistant secretary, super. I mean, the youth organizer, this is a grassroots person. You know, his name is Barrister, he's there all over the place and the rest. So for us, I think that the Volta region people, the delegates are so much comfortable with somebody who they know. And it's not about the highest spender or the highest bidder. So today, we are happy that we are going to build upon that relationship. That people, for the fact that we are with them and they know us, and the fact that they have reposed the confidence in us, we are going to maintain that relationship. We are going to be with them. Just to tell you, we are ready right now even to go back there and to say thank you to them. That is what we are, the current executive we are made of.
Okay. Let me come back to Doc on this specific matter. It has come to the fore again about, people contesting for this or that position. Of course, we can stretch it to what has happened in light of what we've seen as far as Sir John's testament is concerned and other matters arising, declaration of assets and all of that. But coming up forcefully again, political party spending. And the question is, if you are here to serve, why are you pumping in so much money, so much in terms of resources, people giving out cars and money, doling out wads of cash, and even offering scholarships, proposing? What picture does that paint in terms of our democratic practice, even intra-party, within the parties?
It is simple that the political elite, take it or leave it, have corrupted the system. Because, look, if you want votes, there are three things. It is what I call RSM, your resources, your strategy, and your message, which is tied to what? Your manifesto. Resources, human resource, who are the caliber of people you are put in place who are going to contest or vote for you, or you are going to vote for. These are very, very germane issues that need to address. Yes, you will spend some money, but we believe that this thing must be within a certain range. That doesn't raise an eyebrow. But what we see like a marketplace where people dole out money, throw money out just to induce, entice, and get people to vote for them. It tells you that there's something wrong at the grassroots with our democracy, because democracy does not, flow with behavior like this or habits like this. No, it's an aberration. And we have encouraged these things over the years. And what the laws on that, the elites have thrown them away. Nobody wants to enforce anything on that because they themselves, who are the political elite who must enforce these things, are guilty. Of course, not all of them, some of them are guilty of this. So it becomes difficult to fight that battle. I'm not sure we are going to win that battle until the political elites decide that enough is enough and that we want to have a clean state when we are, engaging in elections and all that.
But Doug,
but until that,
Doug, briefly, I find it curious that you make that point because you're saying, I feel that if on a national level, we were able to deal with the asset declaration regime and other things pertaining to political parties and their funding as per our constitution and even have wider laws on that. If at the national level we say you can't do X, you can't do Y, you can't do Z, that would percolate to the regional level and beyond. But if we say it is left to political leadership, all of this favors them. They would never do this. Are you not in agreement with me?
Yes, I do. But come to think about it, who are supposed to enforce the law? Is it not the executive?
But we can compel the executive. As a people, we have a voice. We can push for a certain agenda.
Yeah, that is one.
And ensure that they do what must be done.
That is one aspect. Another aspect is that we, as the electorate, must also force them to do the needful if they want to renege on their promise and whatnot. So it's a difficult thing. And if you look at the two actors, that is the elite and we as the people too, we have not helped matters because we always glorify them. They come dole out money, we collect and vote for them or vote against them. We encourage the practice. We also, as elite, political elite, like, look, we know the laws exist, but look, I want to bribe my way. I want to win power by hook or by crook. If that is our position, then I'm afraid all this hula baloo about let's get the political landscape clean and order, we are not going to achieve that at all because we ourselves are ready.
Tell me, Pope, Mr. Yevo, the new secretary of the NPP in the Volta region, was mentioning that for him and likely his chairman, Mr. Wanya, they won based on relationship. In fact, Pope came into the fray very late. He's a former communications director. And he says for him, he didn't expend anything more than 30,000 cedis. How much credence would you give to this in terms of the relationship discussion, how much of a role relationship plays? You spoke about your key issues, RSM. But what role does relationship play? And again, reflect on this. If a secretary for a regional contest is spending up to about 30,000 cedis, what does it mean? Justified?
I listened to him. That is what he's telling us. But I have a different view. My view is that perhaps the figure is more than what he told us. But hey, he is telling us. So let's work with that. But what I'm saying is that, look, we have corrupted the political system to the extent that it's difficult to win election without throwing money in. It's very, very difficult. Because for intra-elections such as what we are seeing in the NPP, there is more of such influence in there. You need to make sure that you grease the palms of the people who are going to vote. Otherwise, they will throw you away. It doesn't matter the relationship. People will tell you that they need to survive. And that, look, you need to do something. That is, you need to what? Cough up money and so forth and so on. It is also true that you have people who have over the years served the party. They have become the face of the party in their regions and all that. And that, look, any day, any time, they will win elections. But that is not to say that money will not get through the process. We have corrupted the system in such a way that it is very difficult. But I admit that there are some whose pedigree, whose work are giving them the votes that they need. And those people are very few within the political system.
So when you look at all of these happenings within the party, and you consider the fact, for example, that in almost across all the regions, the NPP is re-electing their chair people and all of that. I mean, crucial among them, you look at Bono, Abronya DC is back. You look at the Ashanti region, Chairman Wood, to me, won again. Not such a large lead. Yeah, pretty large, 306, 400 and something. There's also in the Volta region what we've seen. In the Greater Accra region, Divine Aghom won by some 6 votes. By and large, the narrative, if you take out Bono East and Western North, where the chair people lost, and then you add Eastern, where the incumbent didn't even contest, and Central, where the election has not even been held, the narrative is that they are retaining their leadership. And the NPP on the back of that has said they are battle ready for 2024. Looking at the crop of leaders they have re-elected, does that give you that confidence that they are battle ready? Because these are the same people who were, a lot of them at the helm of affairs when they lost by quite a number of votes in the presidential election, and also lost by quite a lot in the parliamentary election, which has led to our hung parliament.
Yes, I'll start by looking at even the grassroots. If you look at the last election, about over 30 people were swept away by the NDC tsunami. It took them away. It tells you that there's something went wrong at the constituency level, all right? Because at the constituency, you have the DCE, you have all the party elites and then the actors there. What happened that they did not see in terms of intelligence? The state apparatus were there, and then they provided them with all manner of information and all that. The party even structure. So what happened? Then you come to look at it from the regional point of view. One would have expected the constituencies, if they fail, that the regions will be able to pick the signals and right the wrongs. But what happened? They also were there when all these things happen. So if you are retaining the leaders, then you are telling us that, look, either you are oblivious of what happened in 2020, or that maybe you think that this time around things will change. But you need to convince everybody beyond reasonable doubt that, look, the people you are retaining now, they have learned the lessons. Now they will be able to do the work and do it properly. So as you put it there, then as a political communicator, you give your opponent the ammunition that, look, this is an old dog, and that we know how to handle it, right? So it becomes a difficult task for the NPP that, look, this is the view that the other parties have about them. So they need to work extra hard, because other than that, look, the same story will be repeated. And that is what I'm afraid of.
When you look at the Upper West region, for example, and after this, I'll go to Pope once more. When you look at the Upper West region, you have Dr. Sambaye Kangbere. who himself came out to say, a pretty elderly man, who himself came out to say, look, I said I would do X, Y, Z. I was not able to achieve those. So vote for me a second time and I'll be able to achieve that. That is an interesting narrative. You take that to the Ashanti region where Chairman Wuntumi Nchibwesiako also is in a similar situation. He promised delivering all 47 constituencies to the NPP. He has failed time and again. He promised a regional office that has not materialized, among other promises. But these same people have been given the nod. You're thinking, Doc?
It's going to be difficult for them because, look, politics hinges on trust. If you're a leader and you promise me ABC and you are not able to deliver, what is the point that when I give you the opportunity one more time, you'll be able to deliver? Nobody is going to be used as experiment. No, that experimental design will not work. So it's a deficit that they need to work hard at in order to erase that negative impressions in the minds of people. Other than that, look, people will just watch them and then vote against them. They need to do a lot. How do you convince me that, look, last time you promised me ABC and you were not able to fulfill them, but this time around you said, look, I will do it. Now that even we have difficult times, the economy, we are struggling to build it. Two, there are, bickering within the parties. There are a lot of cracks within the parties. There are a lot of problems within the party, and you have to put all this thing together, weigh it against what you are saying. Then you have a very undaunting task.
Let me come to Pope Yao Yevo, the new secretary for the NPP in the Volta region. Pope, so I'm going to ask you a few questions. I want to walk you through a few things about yourself, and do tell me what is right and what is not. You're a teacher, right? You train in college and all of that. Do you still teach?
No.
You don't teach?
No, I don't teach anymore.
So when did you stop teaching?
I work with the National Health Insurance Authority.
Yes, I was about to get to that. But how long have you been away from teaching? I mean, how long has it been since you stopped teaching?
I stopped teaching in 2017.
2017?
Yes.
Okay, so, and then you took up the post with the NHIS?
Yes.
Are you the director for the NHIS in the Volta region?
I am the municipal manager for Ketinos.
Right. A curious question. What made you leave teaching for politics?
Teaching for politics. When I was teaching, I was doing politics at the same time.
Yes, but I mean full time.
Well, I think that I want to serve the people. As a student of politics, after my days in school, I've always been a student leader and the rest. So for me, I think that I was born to serve the people, and that dream, that inspiration has always been there. So basically, to serve the people.
All right. I know I'm pushing this, but I don't know what your salary is as the director K2 North. You said, as far as the NHIS is concerned, and I wouldn't have you say that on air, not at all. But if you look at what you say, at least you spent in your campaign. If we were to put the two side by side, would it be commensurable? Would we be able to say that, yes, you funded your campaign from your own pocket, or what are the dynamics that you can share with us? Did you fund your campaign from your own pocket?
Well, before I started this, one thing about me is that I love to do a lot of consultation and the rest. So I can tell you, my family, the Yevu family, have been very, very, very supportive of this. They believe in me. They think that I've chosen a path that I have always been so much. I mean, I'm into it. I'm so passionate about politics, and having been a student of politics, let me say hi to my lecturer, Dr. Ashanti. And so my family believes in me, and they really helped in this direction with my own savings. Yes, I can say on this platform that I'm one young person who love to save. When I take my salary, I don't blow all of it away. I make sure I save. So for me, it's about the help from family and friends, and then my own savings that got me the small resources that I've been able to use to do this.
All right, so help from family and friends and your own resources. That was how you finance your campaign. Beyond the secretaryship position, communications director, now secretary, you're still retaining your NHIS position, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What next? Even as I come to the dynamics in terms of the new regional executive, what next? What is your next challenge? Would you at some point be going for the chairmanship position or a vice chairmanship position? I mean, do you see yourself getting to that point in the party?
I think that when we get there, we'll cross. But for now, I want to concentrate on my secretary position and to deliver. If that day comes and the people call on me again, and I also myself have the conviction to go up, why not? So, but for now, I really want to concentrate on the position that the people have actually given me to deliver. I like I said, I promised them 2 cardinal things, and for which I think that I want to concentrate on, because these 2 things are very critical for us, winning the election in 2024 as a political party, not just in the Volta region, but everywhere. Because I believe that 2024 elections, we can win it on 2 fronts: communication and through research. If we take these 2 things seriously, we are going to win 2024 hands down.
All right. You also elected a new youth organizer and among others, to steer the affairs of the party. When you look at your new leadership in the Volta region, how strong is it? And I ask that question in context. Of course, the Volta region the Oti region used to be part of the Volta region. Now it's been separated. But your last real win, you had 1 seat in the Oti region, which you've lost, and now you are hanging on to Ho. So when you look at these dynamics, do you feel this crop of executives can retain the seat, the Ameu seat, and even build upon that to secure more votes, more seats in the Volta region?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I want to say the new executive, I can tell you all of these people are grassroots people. They understand the dynamics in the Volta region. So we have a solid team. I bet you we have a very solid team. Now, I tell you, my chairman, myself, and others won because the promises the chairman made in 2018 to the people, he's been able to fulfill many of them. He promised building a regional party office. We are almost 80% complete. He promised, empowering the research department. He has done that. He promised, empowering the communications department, the wings, the women, Nasara, and then the youth wing. He's been able to do that. And so those were the things that we've been able to do. And he also promised to deliver about 5 seats for the region. He's been able to deliver 1, that is the Hokwe seat, that's the Ameu seat. And then to increase the presidential votes. The presidential votes in 2016 regarding the 18 constituencies in the Volta region, we had 60,802 in 2016. But then in 2020, the presidential votes moved from the 60,000 to 100,148 or so. So based on those things, we believe that the team that we have right now, which many of them have been part of the gone executive, we are going to do a lot more because we have been the helm of affairs. We knew where we went wrong and we knew where our strengths were. And so we are going to actually build on those things in order to ensure that we annex more seats from the NDC. It is not going to be easy though, but with research and communication, I tell you, we are going to get there because the research and communication has done a lot of work in Ketunov, where I come from, and then of course Hokwe. The things you see in Hokwe, the victory you see in Hokwe, much of it is based on research and communication, and the kind of thing you see in Ketunov, for example, is also much of it based on research and communication, and of course the candidates who are involved. So for me, I believe that we have a solid team now that will deliver. This team is together. We pray that the Almighty God will help us to remain together and to prosecute the agenda of making sure
I wish I could have caught that snippet of what
the NPP 8 and yeah, am I still
you're back.
on?
Please go ahead.
So we are able to break the 8 and then
Hello, Pope. All right, it appears the feed has frozen for a bit, but I think the thrust of what he was saying was that he believes the party with this crop of executives will be able to break the 8 in the Volta region in terms of the presidential votes and also win more constituencies. Please go ahead, Pope.
Yeah, so like I was saying, with this crop of executive, we have been in the helm of affairs. And so we know our strengths and weaknesses. We are going to work hard to ensure that we improve on what we have done, and certainly to win more seats in the Volta region and also to increase the presidential votes. And so we are battle ready. Of course, the battle is for the Lord. And we believe that the good Lord will give us the strength to actually deliver on the promises that we have made to the delegates in the just ended elections.
Let me just say that from our live feed on Facebook, one Alexander Kpodonu Nkegbe, together with Ajololo Holy, are both sending you their congratulatory messages. So some saying congratulations to you. But what do you feel it would take, really, to achieve what you're talking about? It's not going to be easy. This is the stronghold of the opposition NDC. Just as it is difficult for the NDC to get votes and seats in the Ashanti region, it is equally difficult for you to do same in the Volta region. You have Hohoi, as you've rightly mentioned, but the last time you got a seat in Oti, it was taken away from you. What are you going to do as executives to bring this tide of favor that will help you break the 8 and gain more constituencies? That is what I want to know.
Yes, we realize a few things, and we believe that when we are able to do those, we can get the kind of votes we want. One, like we said, we want to inspire the grassroots. We want to energize the grassroots. In 2020, when we went around, we told them polling stations that will win the presidential votes for us, we will try and recognize them for the things.
All right, so let me come to. It's unfortunate that the feed is a bit bad. I mean, the connection is not the most stable, but we'll try to get back to you, Pope. Let me bring in Dr. Asante. So you've heard what Pope has been saying. When you analyze it from the perspective of a political scientist who has followed our elections across the years, especially in the Fourth Republic, does he give you confidence that this new leadership in the Volta region, as far as the NPP is concerned, can cause a stir?
It's difficult to say because if you look at it, is true that since 1992, the NPP has been improving upon their performance in Volta region from 4% to about 16%. All right, there's no doubt about that. But as to whether they will be able to get more seats in the Volta region, for me, it's a difficult one. Why am I saying that? If you look at even the Hohoi, all right, we know the circumstances and all that. He is saying that is based on research and communication. We agree. For every elections, when you are going into election, you first of all need to conduct election, know the situation on the ground, out of which you can build messages and strategies and all that. So research, it's a sine qua non, without which not. But quite apart from that, there are constituencies where people have certain, tradition that they want to maintain. And that one, it becomes difficult to break. What is it that you are going to say to influence them? If we look at Hohoe, for instance, recently, as part of my research, I traveled from Accra to the Oti region, Kwanta specifically, and I saw how difficult the terrain is. Driving from Accra to Hohoe takes you about 5 hours. You can imagine this. It is true that this program was started by John Mahama, and then NPP also continued from Hohoe to Nkwanta, which used to be a very long distance. Now you drive for 2 hours, you are good to go. All right. They are working, but that's one of the things that the party, if they really, really want to impress the people, to fix that road. Quite apart from that, economic conditions of the people, very, very, very worse. How are they going to work on that? It's not only communication and then research, but beyond the research, you get the information, because I'm sure their research points to the fact that the economic conditions of the people are very poor. What are they doing to address that issue? And look, 2024 appears to be a long distance, but I tell you, it is just a few meters away. What is it that they can do this time around to improve the lot of the people, to gain confidence so that they will maintain the seat? It's a difficult one. I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be very, very difficult for them, if not impossible for them to win any seat in the Volta region. All right. But it's too early days yet. So they have to work very hard to be able to address all the challenges within the place. They should be able to also make sure that the promises that they gave, because now, look at even the last election, you saw a lot of analysis from think tanks and other organizations about promises and how far you have gone in money. They were on top of these issues. All these analyses are going to come up, and this gives a lot of information to the voter as to deciding on which party to give your vote to. It is something that they have to watch. But I believe that, yes, they can tell you all manner of things, but the voter region, they have a lot of work to do. I am afraid they need to work and work. Otherwise, I'm not sure they are going to win that much seat there.
Did you find it surprising that across regions there appeared to be this problem? And in fact, in the central region, that is one of what culminated in the injunction. But across regions, you have TESCON members, Council of Elders members going to vote, and they are questioned about who they are in the party and whether they qualify to vote. Is that something the NPP has to address moving forward?
Oh, straightforward, because once people are raising issues and that you are not qualified to vote, then it means that there is a problem. Institutions, there's a problem with institutions there. They need to work on that. So political education is key. Let them know who is qualified to vote at which election and whatnot. Once you don't do this, then people will have all manner of interpretation on this. It's going to affect your vote. That is something that they need to address quickly in no time.
Your concluding comments, Doc, in terms of your expectations after at least the string of elections we've seen so far, your concluding comments. And then I'll give Pope the same opportunity as well. But I'll start with you, Doc.
Yeah, my comments are that, one, it is not enough to win elections, be happy that you are maintaining your leaders and all that. But they should go back to the drawing board and get the basics right. What am I talking about? What were some of the factors that led to their defeat in the parliamentary elections? That today you have a hand parliament. They need to get constituency by constituency analysis. They need to do that and convince themselves that this time around they will be able to weather the storm. That is one. Two, there are cracks that are emerging in the party, and it is not new to NPP. NDC also have their own problems and all that. How are they going to address that quickly so that by the time they get to, say, 2023, you have been able to address all these challenges, and you have a solid team that is ready to prosecute the agenda of 2024. Three, they need to be able to make sure that they support the government to succeed than, looking for votes, trying to, undo one another. In other words, looking for positions instead of working to maintain their record. Let us remember that you can never contest any elections if you have no record, because politics is nothing but a contest of ideas and referendum of your work. What work are they going to stand on to campaign if they don't support the government? So yes, much as they are interested in positions within the party, everybody must be able to support the government to succeed. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for them to campaign, because I don't know what they are going to hang on to campaign. And above all, they should be able to have a solid communication team. There are things that, look, they bring against the government, are things that you need party people to defend. And you see them, struggling, and more often than not, they seem not to have any information at all. Right. I want to see a very active communication machinery that has the political wherewithal, has all the experienced people, it has the message, it has the strategy, and it has the sense of what? Direction. Once they get this thing right, I'm sure it's going to help them. Otherwise, breaking the 8 will be just a rhetoric.
Thank you so much, Doc, for joining the conversation. Dr. Kwame Asante, political scientist at the University of Ghana. I'll wrap with Pope as well. Pope, so what can we expect from your leadership, your regional leadership, as we head for election 2024? What can we expect from you, briefly?
Well, thank you. For us, as a regional leadership, I know our regional chairman is a very hardworking regional chairman. So we are going to hit the ground running. Like I said, we are set to go down there to the people who voted for us, to engage them, to thank them, and to engage them that there is work to do and not position to occupy. So, like we said, I am happy that Doc, my former lecturer, agreed with me that we need to do more research, to do more communication, and of course, to talk about the things that we have done for the people. That's where the communication comes in, the things that we have done in the Volta region. He spoke about the Eastern Corridor roads. So much work is ongoing on that road. So we also have a record to go on with. And of course, we in the Volta region are going to support government within the region, government within the districts and the municipalities, government at the national level. We are going to support them so that more work can be done, more communication can be done, more research can be done, and we'll seek government support in terms of the research, especially because, as you know, research is a capital intensive thing. So we'll seek support from every party person for us to get there. But essentially, also one thing that is very cardinal for us is our engagement with our electoral area coordinators and our polling station executives. We need these people. We need to inspire them. We need to motivate them for them to stay with us, and we need to unite. We are actually calling on everybody, especially those who contested with us. We want them to bring their experience to bear. And certainly, one thing that we are going to do is to recognize all former executives, polling station, electoral area, constituency, regional executives who are no longer position holders. We will recognize them at various ceremonies so that they will feel very important and join us to do this work. So for me, yes, like Doc said, it is going to be very difficult for us, but it is not impossible. Just like we have won Hokwe seat, we are likely to win other seats in the Volta region, and that's the Volta region story certainly will change in terms of the NPP politics.
All right, thank you very much. Are you an old Maulian, though? I see a message says from Jansi Dollar, you've done the OMA fraternity proud once again. Congratulations. Are you an old Maulian?
No, that's an old Maronians Association. That is for all former students or trainees of Jaskan Training College. So we are old Maronians.
Right. Well, yes. They are sending you congratulatory messages as well. And we wish you the best on this journey.
Thank you very much.
Okie doke. Well, thank you very much for joining the conversation, Doc, and of course, Mr. Yevo. But up next, it's been a month since government started implementing the E-levy. There have been some problems, but the question is, a month on, how is the GRA working to ensure the problems encountered are solved? Joining us for this conversation, Patrick Frimpong Danso. He is a member of the E-levy management team, and he joins us next on the AM show for a conversation. Stay.
Good morning to you. Thank you so much for staying on the AM show. We are grateful that you make time every morning to join us. Now it's time to have that conversation about the E-levy. You know, it started on the 1st of this month. Today is the 30th. So we're just assessing the progress of implementation 1 month on. I know a lot of you still have questions, and we are told that education will continue. I've got Patrick Frimpong Danso with me. He's a member of the E-levy Technical Committee, and we'll be having that conversation. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Hope you're doing well.
Very well.
Before we go into any details about the E-levy proper, just help us understand what the role of the Technical Committee is.
Okay. Thank you, and then I also say good morning to your viewers. The technical team was formed to make sure that the implementation of the E-levy will go smoothly. So we have duties like making sure that we put enough education out the public there. We also guide all the charging entities. We also take the law and they interpret the law as we understand it by law to the charging entities so that they will know their obligations under this act. So basically, the Act 1075, we are also in charge of that one, making sure we are breaking it down so that everybody will understand the act and how we can operationalize the act.
Okay.
So that is the committee's work. It's a huge thing that
So let's single out education for now, because right on the show, one of your colleagues was here, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we realized that a lot of people didn't really understand what this E-levy was all about, especially when it came to implementation and what it will cost them. So tell us, since we started, how far you've gone in terms of education and what exactly the specifics you've been doing.
Okay, all right. We've done a lot of education. Some of them we started even from some of your radio stations and other sisters radio stations. We've done that one. What we've done is we have trained all our officers throughout the whole country.
That's the GRE?
GRE, yes. And 2, we also partner Information Service Department. We did it in Kumasi. I was the person who was doing the resource person.
Okay.
And then we trained them, and they are going to the grassroots.
Have they started that
They've
yet?
started. They are doing that one with our offices at the local level. So let's say if you go to, let's say, Mampon, GRA is there. They have the partner, the Information Service Department there, and then they do the education. So we started education, a lot of education. You know, when this levy came out, a lot of misconceptions were in the public domain. People didn't understand it very well. So I always tell people that the name is what it means. It means electronic transfer levy. So that when people were saying that if you are going to cash out, they will charge you. If you are going to cash in, they will charge you. They were not part of it. Foreign remittances were not part of it. Also, a lot of things that we have explained now. I'm sure I was, when I think the second day when we went live, I was at your sister station, that is Adom FM. And the question was put, and I explained to them. So most of them were saying that they didn't understand it well, but now they are getting, once GRE is taking over and they are explaining things, now people understand it. So the education, I can say that we've done a lot, and we are still doing more.
Let's go to the genesis of the E-levy, talking about policy credibility issues and all that. 1 month on, have we achieved that, or are we in the process of achieving what we set out to get from the E-levy?
Okay. I will say that, you know, for every system that you implement, there will be some challenges when you start, especially when it comes to technology, and then 2, when it comes to people who don't understand the whole thing. You have some issues. Yes, we have moved forward. We started 1st May. That was when we are doing what we call the modified phase approach, meaning that we are asking the charging entities that, you know, charge whatever transaction that comes in, but make sure that you bear it in mind the exemptions. Like the 100 cedis a day, you have to make sure that you observe it, then do all those things. Then after that, come and account to us. We have seen some challenges. Now, some of the challenges that we have seen is that where you move money from your own bank account to your wallet, it's supposed to be exempt under the law. But you find out that when you move the money, the bank deducted the E-levy. Okay, then they're not supposed to do that. Then what happened? You have to report to your bank that you are the same person, and the bank has to reverse it. We're having those challenges. But I can say that so far we've done a lot. Okay. And our target, like where we are looking at, meaning that our charging entities that we know that they are the people that we are looking at, so far they are doing well with us. All the transactions that we are seeing is good.
Okay, let me put the question this way. How much have we made after 1 month? Are we able to tell this is the amount of money we've made? Because there's a target we're hoping to reach at the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how much of that have we made?
Yeah, we can't
after 1 month.
We don't have the figures right now as I speak to you, because now, as I said, the modifier approach, the charges are deducting the money. Just like here, Joy FM at the end of the month will take your PAYE and come and pay. When they take the money, until you report to GRI, we don't know how much.
So the charging entities haven't reported to you?
Yes.
When are we hoping to get the first initial report?
Yeah, by the end of the month, that's the first day. We are looking at the end of this month.
Which is tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow. Once they finish that, then after that, then they have some days to come and report to us. Mind you, we have a lot of few issues that are coming up. Reversals, where a wrongful charge has been done. They have to correct all those things and do reconciliation. Then they come and report to us. So that if you have any figure, let's say you have X amount and you put it out there, then you come back and said, oh no, some of this X amount you put out there, they were reversals. We have done that one, and then it has reduced the money or it has increased the money. So we need to be very careful before we put out that. Commissioner General has promised that after the end of this first period, he will come out and tell the general public how much GRE has collected in respect to the E-levy.
Okay. So, but are you able to tell us then, because it appears now that you don't have the figures, but are you able to tell us from your observation and interaction with the charging entities what the rate of compliance is? I'm asking this because, you know, at the beginning of its implementation, we had a lot of people threatening to withdraw their monies from their mobile money platforms and all that. But, I mean, do you have any figures to indicate that any such major thing happened where you had loads of people, you know, getting off the platform?
Okay. For now, we will not have it because the EMIs have not given us any data on that one. But according to them, when we meet them some months back, they were saying that, you know, for every system, once a new thing that is coming out, people will withdraw a bit. So they can tell us that maybe the volume of transaction might not be like before. And even before the E-levy, people started withdrawing from this transaction. So we understand that maybe for the first 1-2 months, transaction will not be like it is. But going forward, let's say we are looking at targeting ourselves from August going, we will see that transaction will be moving up again. Because basically, that would be the best way to do, to work right or to send money to somebody, rather than you going there physically to send money. It's better to sit comfortable in your bedroom and send money to anybody, rather than say that I'm going to take a car to send this money. So I think that transaction will move on when somewhere in August we'll know that it will go up. Just beginning, people will start want to see, let's wait and see what is happening. And then that's why it's happening. But we know that it will move forward.
You spoke about the refunds, the reversals of monies that were wrongfully deducted. Are the companies able to do this smoothly, or you're still having issues with this?
We don't have. When we started the first 2 days, one of the EMIs, that one of the telcos were charging people when you are even sending less than 100 Ghana cedis. They are imposing the E-levy. That is when it's off net. But within their net, they don't charge you when it's less than 100, but they are charging you when it's off net. So we realized that, and then we prompt them, and they've done the reversal. The first day they reversed 128,000 transactions. The second day was 104,000 transactions that has been reversed. So once they get to know that it's a wrongful charge, immediately they do the reversal and they report back to us. So at the end of what we'll see, at the end of this month, we will see all reversals that were done, wrongful charges that were done, and then the reversals that were also accompanied this transaction. So I'm sure we will get to know the bigger picture when they submit their data to us by the end of the month.
So where are we with the full rollout? We know that this is a phased approach.
Yeah.
We are entering the next month.
Yeah.
So where are we with the full rollout?
Okay. The full rollout, we are starting 1st July. 1st July, we are expecting that the full rollout, this means that what is going to happen, and let me explain this one. GRE has got a common platform. We have built a common platform. That common platform is where all the charging entities will come to find out whether that transaction should be levied or not levied. So, for example, if you wake up in the morning and you are sending, let's say, 100 Ghana cedis from your wallet to another person's wallet, then once you initiate that transaction, the charging entity with maybe if you are using, let's say, Alter Tigo, the Alter Tigo will come to our platform and say, GRE, I'm doing this transaction, this person is doing this transaction. What should I charge? Then the system will go and check our database and say that, okay, this person is where the money is going is a different person, and therefore it's 100 cedis. This is the first time he's doing the 100 cedis, and therefore it's 0.
Okay.
We don't compute the tax, but we tell them the amount they should charge on. So we say that, okay, charge the 1.5% on 0, meaning that it's 0 amount. Now, let's say in the afternoon, you decide that you want to send another money to maybe your producer, and you say you want to do, let's say, 200. You initiate the transaction, and then the Alter Tigo will send it to GRE, our common platform, and say, you know, GRE, this person is doing this transaction, and can you tell us how much we should charge or what we should levy? Then they will say, okay, he has done first 100 Ghana cedis, and this is 200 Ghana cedis. Okay, then we say that levy the 1.5 should be on the 200, and then they will compute the 200, 1.5% on the 200, and then ask you to pay. So the common platform is going to do a lot of things, like when you are moving money from your bank account and you are the same person, the bank will come to that platform and say that this person has got this account, and this is the kind of card number he's using, that person is using. He's moving money to this wallet. Then we can tell, because we have the SIM card registration data with us, and said, oh, he's the same person, therefore charge zero. So the common platform is where we are going in 1st July. And as I sit here right now, 9 o'clock, we are starting meeting the charging entities. There are 62 in number that we are looking at. Our target is that we want to have
62 charging entities?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, huge. And our target for the committee is that we want to have 90% ready for 1st July. And this 90%, we are taking them, all the banks, all the EMIs, that is the telcos, all of them, and then all the PSPs. These three, they are the major players in this. And once we have them, we have about 90-95% of the transaction in our ecosystem. The rest, like being the rural banks and then the savings and loans bank, are not much, and they don't do huge transactions. So the way we are looking at is the 90% or 95% is looking at the EMIs, the banks, and then also the PSPs.
So there were concerns that the implementation of the e-levy will cause some distortions in the general tax structure. You know, so somebody says, I run a company, you come and buy from me, I pay tax to GRA, okay. But you come and buy from me, you pay with Momo, and then we are taxed again. And so people feel like people may want to have a way of, you know, cutting corners. And so this is not from, you don't need the charging entities to give you this. I mean, from GRA's point of view, do you see any change in the general tax structure since the e-levy was introduced?
Yeah, what we are looking at it from GRA is that we want to broaden the tax net and bring in more people now. In the law, in the 1075, the Act 1075, we're stating that we have something called specified merchant payment. Now, this is how it works. If, let's say, you have a shop and you have gone to MTN to get their merchant code, that is one step. Now, once you have the merchant code, it means that if I come to you and buy, you can say, oh, you can pay through this code, and I will do that payment now. If you give me that code, and I do that transaction and pay to you, what we need to do is that, one, whether your company or your entity has registered with the GRA. So if you are registered with the GRA, whether for income tax or VAT purpose, then it means that that transaction that I will do, when I'm paying you, I won't pay the e-levy. So it means that if you are not registered with GRA for the income tax or VAT, and I'm paying you, they will deduct, although I'm a merchant. We are saying that once you know that you have a merchant account, come to GRA and can be compliant. Say that, GRA, I have this business. I want to pay my income tax. So that all my customers, when they are making payment to me through this platform, they will not be levied. So we are bringing people who are not already in the tax net into the tax net. But if you like, you go to some of the shops, like if you go to Kuala, they pay taxes to GRA, we know them. So if I go there and they give me a short code for payment, when I do that one, I don't pay the e-levy. So it's one of the things that we are looking at it, that we are going to rope in more people onto the platform, because if I'm doing business with you and it's going to cost me more, I'll prefer going to another person that is cheaper. So we are looking at it that all those who have got merchant accounts and if not registered with GRA, we expect that they will come and register. And in this case, they will pay income tax, and therefore their customers, when they are paying you, they will not suffer the e-levy.
And so to the business person who's watching us, I'm also thinking they are wondering, would it cost me more? I mean, I know legally they're supposed to pay their tax, but people find ways to evade it. Obviously, they do a lot of calculations. So would it cost me more if I pay my income tax? Or if I don't, and I allow my customers to pay the e-levy?
Okay. Now, what is going to happen is that all the charging entities are giving us their merchants. So we have the data. We have them. So if let's say your name is part of the merchant, we will go to our database and find out whether you are paying tax or not. If you are not paying tax, we'll tell the charging entity that, this person that you have brought is not paying tax. Therefore, we cannot include that person. And two, we will ask our compliance team to come after you so that we recognize your business.
Okay, so this is interesting. So are you telling me that moving into the future, we're going to see people who are merchants who may not have registered with the GRA, probably taking off their platforms I mean, by the telcos? Is that
No, the telcos might not do that. But what we have is that we cannot include you for exemption.
Okay.
Until you come and then you register with us and you comply with our trust.
But what does the law say?
Do
we have anything specifically in the law addressing merchants who are not paying their income tax or VAT and all that?
For that, in our law, our normal law that we used to work is there that if you are not paying, we can come to you and then make sure that we bring you into our tax net. We can come, we advise you, we invite you, we advise you, we tell you what you do, you come, you fill all the forms, and then we keep on. We don't go and then start, let's say, grabbing people to by force. We come to talk to you. Sometimes the person doesn't know. We educate the person on the tax issues and say that, oh, you know something, this is what you are doing, you need to pay this tax, and then you can help you to do this A, B, and C. So we will take all the list, those who are not on our books, and then we'll go and tell them that we invite them to our offices and tell them this is what you are supposed to do per the tax laws. And then we advise them and then they will comply. I know most of them, when we go and then we ask them that you're supposed to come to our office, let's have a discussion and help you to file your return, they come. So what will happen at the end of the day is that the E-levy will help GRA to expand the tax net.
What is GRA's end-of-year target for E-levy?
For the E-levy, for the committee, we don't have the data on how much we are supposed to, but we know that there has been a revised for the target, the initial target. So we are waiting for the final document.
Okay. So initially it was about 6.9, moved to 4.5.
Yes, we have.
But you're not able to confirm to me right now what exactly it is.
Yes, we need to wait for we have to have official letter saying that now this is the target that we are telling you. For us at the public service, we don't just say things. We have to make sure that there's a documentation that we can quote. So for me, if I can't sit here, I can't say anything unless I have a letter that's saying that maybe the ministry is saying that we have done our research, we have revised our target now. This is the target we are giving to GRA. Then we can speak to that one.
Okay, so is it that as at the point of implementation on the 1st of this month, we didn't know what we were setting out to take?
Oh, by all means, I know that we know, the policymakers know. But the question, what I'm saying is that in such situation, you don't come out with figures that you are not authorized.
Okay.
Because for public service, I will not sit on public radio and give figure that I've not seen any letter accompanied. Okay. What I can refer to is the one in the budget, which we all know. That was the initial one. That one was supposed to start 1st February.
Yes.
And now we are starting. We started May. So they have to sit down and then do their calculation.
There was a revision to about 4.5.
Yes. So the revision, we had that one. So we need a letter or something that is saying that GRA, these are the target for the E-levy. Then we can take it. For us, it is right now. We'll wait for that target to come. But I'm sure by when Commissioner General comes out by end of this month to tell us how much we have got, he will also mention the target for the rest of the year.
So there are issues about third-party transactions being executed by vendors. There are concerns about that, right?
Yeah. That's a huge challenge that we have right now. We read and we heard some interviews that the vendors were saying that, if you come and you put the money on your wallet and you send, they'll charge you. But me, I'm exempt, so let me send the money on your behalf. And they know that it's illegal. You cannot go to a vendor and say, the vendor, take 200 Ghana and send it to my mother in the village. No. When you go to the vendor, they're supposed to do only two things. One is to do a cash out and cash in. So either you are withdrawing money or you are putting money on your own wallet. Now what they are doing is that when you go, they will say, okay, this thing has been happening some years back, but many don't know that it was illegal. You go and say, take 200 and send it to my mother.
But this has been happening for a very long time.
And we were shocked when we met the EMIs, and then we said that when we look at we are coming out with how we're going to charge. We said that we are going to charge third party sending money, so that if you go to a vendor and you are sending money to somebody, you are going to charge a E-levy. And they say, no, that one is illegal. They are not supposed to do that. So we were shocked. That was the first time we heard that and said, but they have been doing it. That's their normal thing. They say, yes, it's illegal. According to them, they block them when they find out that you are doing that. But right now, as it is right now, they are cashing in. There's a way to go about it, and we can solve that, and it's going to be used by technology. That will be the only way we can do. Because I know when I went to Kumasi and I did a presentation, somebody told me that he went to a vendor that he wanted to send money to somebody in Accra. The vendor said he cannot do that. He was shocked. But he went to the next door, the guy took it and then did the transaction. So some people are afraid to do that, but some are also doing it. Now, with the technology that we are going to solve this problem is that if you are going to send money you are going to put money on your wallet. You are supposed to be there. The phone must be with you. So when I go to the vendor and say that I want to send money to you, and let's say you are in Dansuma, and I'm doing the transaction here, the vendor will put in all the details, the person's number. Then when he is going to send it, the system will check whether the phone is within a radius. If it's not there, the transaction will fail. We are going to make sure that if the telcos don't force their members to go do them, we are going to employ that technology.
Okay, so is this illegal because it is coming from the vendor? Let's bring it home. I'm in the office. I need to send you money. And I go to my producer and I say, oh, take this cash and send to Patrick for me. Is it that entire transaction that is illegal, or it is the vendors executing that transaction that makes it illegal? I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it.
Just like you said, if you give the money to your vendor, the E-levy will apply because your vendor is not exempt. But when you go to the vendor, when he's sending to your mother, that one he's exempt. So it means that the person is dodging the E-levy.
No, so I'm saying that so my producer is sending the money to you.
Yes.
So is that transaction, he's not a vendor, he's just a friend and a colleague. Is the transaction illegal?
No, that one is not illegal. It's the agent. The agents are not supposed to do that. But for me, if I'm in the office with you and you say that, oh, but I need some money to send, but I don't have money on my wallet. So can you send me 500, take the 500 and send it from your wallet to a friend. He's buying something for me. It's not illegal.
Okay.
That one, the person that is doing that transaction, the E-levy will apply it because it's not exempt.
Okay.
2, the vendor, they're supposed to do only 2 things. They're not supposed to take money and send on behalf of somebody. So if you, in the office, we do it always. Oh, I need 200 for something. Charlie, I have the cash, take it, and then send it to somebody for me. They do it.
Okay. So the illegality is not about the transaction itself, but about the person.
The person, those that are doing that. Because the vendors are not supposed to do that.
Okay.
Because they are a unique entity that we see them in the ecosystem.
So this new technology you're talking about that would try to deal with this, when do we hope to introduce it?
We are having a meeting with the charge agencies from today up to Wednesday. Okay. Commissioner General sitting, Ministry of Finance sitting, sorry. We are going to have a meeting with them, telling them that these are the challenges that we are facing. They have to come out with a way to solve it. But we know that there's this technology that we can use. Even with the charging entities, the EMIs, they know. If a transaction is from here to Kumasi, they know. And some of the things that they told us they do is that when they see that you are doing transactions that are off, they are doing outside your region, when you come and say that you have done 100 and they sign out that 50 is off your region, they can say that they won't pay you for that.
Okay, that's so an agent.
Yes, that's an agent. So they are aware of these things. And their system can tell where the transaction is coming from, where it's terminating. So they can tell. So we are having a meeting with them, and also Bank of Ghana is a regulator because now they are being treated as a fintech. So that they are telling them that the law says that don't allow your members to do this. So you have to enforce that thing. As we go along, we might use technology to stop that.
You say you're meeting with the EMIs, but is there going to be any meeting between the mobile money agents themselves?
Yes. We are the association. It's a whole week program from today till Friday. We are meeting from today to Wednesday. We are meeting all the charging entities, the banks, the EMIs, the PSPs, and all of them. Then we are going to meet some groups, and one of them is the agent, the vendors association. So we are meeting them to educate them, to tell them what they are supposed to do. And we're also telling the EMIs, especially the agents, that they should advise them so that they desist from doing this transaction.
Okay, so we are receiving some questions and comments on our social media platform, and there are people, who are a bit concerned that you are not able to tell us how much we've been able to rake in since it started. But Patrick works with the GRA, yes, but you may be aware that we are transitioning to a point where the EMIs or the charging entities will be on one platform. So it will be easy for the GRA to have oversight responsibility. But as it is now, they have to depend on the data that will be given them by the EMIs. And they haven't gotten that yet. Hopefully, you will get that this week, Mr. Frimpong has explained. So don't worry, we will get the figures once they have put out. So Franklin Eche is asking a question about, how about if you did not register his SIM for mobile money, and went to a merchant to send money to his mother in the village? I think that's in relation to what we were just discussing about the agent. So he's saying that, okay, I don't have a mobile money account, so I can't do a cash in or a cash out. I need somebody to send money to my mother. So I go to the mobile money agents, and then I say, take this money. I don't have a mobile money account. My mother needs money urgently. She needs to go to the hospital. It's an emergency. How is that illegal?
Yeah, because the agent is not supposed to do that. Then you can use the channel that you said that. You can tell your friend that, I need money to send to my mother. And this is the money. So take it and then send it to my mother. Instead of going to the agent. Because the agent is exempt. You get me? So with that one, then you know that the E-levy will be applied. And two, what does it take to convert your SIM into a wallet? It's very simple. Since you know that you'll be doing businesses or you'll be sending money, once you have a SIM, the EMIs think that you should have your wallet so that in case you need it, you can. If you don't need it, you don't use it. But I know people who don't have wallets. So such people, if they want to do anything, they might come to you. Oh, can you send money and take the money for me? And that one is done. But you can't go to the agent and do that transaction. Yeah, that one.
So Franklin, I hope your question is answered. But it's an interesting point he raises, because I'm sure there are a lot of people. I mean, until recently, I wasn't on mobile money. I didn't see a need to be on mobile money. I think I got on a few months before the E-levy was introduced. So I know there are a number of people who may just have a similar situation to what Franklin Eche is saying. So there are a lot of people who are still really against the E-levy, and I'm seeing all the comments here. Some of them are quite unprintable language, so I cannot read it on air. But if you have any questions, we are streaming live on Facebook. You can drop your questions in the comment section, even as we start wrapping up this conversation on the E-levy a month on. So basically, what we've been talking about is where we are currently and where we hope to be by the 1st of July. We know that we're going to roll out the full phase of this particular E-levy. Mr. Frimpong is not able to tell us whether we've been able to achieve our policy credibility. You may be aware the reason we went for the E-levy, we were having issues with our policy credibility. We needed to prove that we could pay off our debts, prove that there's more revenue coming in. So government decided, okay, let's introduce the E-levy. And we missed the first quarter because it was supposed to start in February. There was a lot of pushback. Government did town hall meetings. Eventually, on the 1st of May, the E-levy started. Now, Mr. Frimpong again tells us that he's not able to tell us now what GRA's end-of-year target is. They are meeting. There is a revision, but he's not able to give us a figure. So we will be on his neck to furnish us with the details once he's able to get that from the right quarters. And then we'll be able to know where we are now in terms of how much we've accrued after 1 month, what our policy credibility is, and whether based on the figures we have been able to accrue this month, whether we are on course to meeting our end-of-year target. So those are all questions that have not been really answered, but we will get the answers now. So also about education, because he belongs to the technical committee that's largely responsible for that. There are concerns that we're doing this in English language, and a lot of people may not properly understand, because it's a technical issue, and so they want language that is easy to understand and goes down to everybody. What's your plan? Because you spoke about education.
Yeah, yes. I told you I went to Kumasi.
Yeah.
We meet the Information Service Department. Yeah. And they are changing it to the local languages. That's what they are doing. So when you go to the local level, they are giving all the languages. Dagbani, everything. They are explaining it in that terms for them.
What format are they using?
They are using town halls and also radio education. Most of them listen to radio. And they're also doing some groups meetings. They have small associations, also going to churches and the mosques and all those places. So they are now taking over. They are doing that one with our officers in the local level.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'd like us to get very interactive at this point. You can call us on 0302 211 691 extension 2, 0302 211 691 extension 2. If you call, I'd like you to tell me if any of these Information Service Department people have reached you, because we want to just check the extension of this education he's talking about, whether it's gotten down to the grassroots. and let us know what your thoughts are, what your experience also is a month on after the implementation of the E-levy. We've also spoken about the rate of compliance and whether there's still inertia. From what I'm reading on Facebook, there are people who are still upset about this whole E-levy business. But let's hear from Eric. He's joining the program from Kumasi. Good morning, Eric. How are you doing? Let's hear you.
I'm doing good. Please, I want you to ask your man for me. Now, the man know how well merchants struggle to get e-cash to transact business for their customers. So, if the merchant go and struggle to get the e-cash to sell for a customer, and you are telling me now you can't send it direct to the person. Sometimes a merchant pay before he or she gets the e-cash. You get it? So going to pay for a service, and when you are rendering that service, they are trying to tell you it's not possible. Then it means they are gradually going to decline this mobile money business. Like it gradually comes to
Eric, are you an agent?
Yes, please.
You are an agent. So what you're saying is that when you take the money and you send it on behalf of the person, you record it, and then your mobile money service provider pays you back, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that there are still times and agents will not have the electronic cash.
Okay.
You get it?
Okay.
So when a customer comes, an agent pays for a different agent in order to get that electronic cash to that transaction. You get it? Sometimes you will call, I need 200 electronic cash to make some transaction. Then the free agent will tell you, okay, then I'll charge you 1 cedi. You get it? So you pay for the 1 cedi in order to come and get the 2 cedi from the customer. So you're going to pay for that amount to come and just do a deposit for the customer.
Okay. Eric, thank you for joining the program. We'll take a few more calls and I'll have Mr. Frimpong down to respond to them. Gideon joins us from Kutubabi. Good morning, Gideon. Let's hear you.
Good morning, madam. I want to ask the man, is he saying that when you go to an agent to transfer money to your, maybe your neighbor or your family member, it's not allowed?
Yes, that's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying.
Yes.
Has it been introduced? Was it there when the mobile money introduction came in, or is because of the E-levy that it has come?
So we are actually told by the telcos, right?
So
that is not allowed. I'm not sure he can speak for the telcos, but what we know is that the telcos in a meeting said that transaction is illegal. So we need to get to the telcos and find out from them if this education went down when the mobile money, transactions were introduced.
Okay, so, let me say, let's be truthful. Sometimes you see this E-levy, if the government wants money from transferring money even through vendors, the government can give a threshold. At least when you send at least up to 20 Ghana, you don't pay any more money over there. So that means when you are even sending through vendors, you are sending through your phone, right? You will still pay the E-levy. But this is where the vendors are exempted. For me, it is convenient for me to go to the vendor and send money. If I'm sending 10,000, government will take over 1,500 from me.
Okay.
I will easily go to the vendor and pay maybe 20 Ghana for it.
Okay. Thank you for your suggestion, Gideon from Kutubabi. Let's go to Kumasi again. This time it's Karim. Hello, Karim. Let's hear you, please.
Yeah, please. Assuming that if I don't have a mobile money account there, and I want to give my brother money, or my father, how will you do it?
Okay. Well noted. Thank you very much. Straight to the point, Karim from Kumasi. Okay, so let's respond to these three and then we'll pick some few more calls. So there's Eric from Kumasi, who is an agent. right? And he has concerns. Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, but I'm surprised that Eric was saying that because he knows very well that that is illegal. You know, when you go to the vendors and you put money on your wallet, they don't charge you.
Yes.
But when you say you are sending money to somebody, they ask you to give them money, physical money. The system they are using know that you are going to convert physical cash into electronic on your own wallet. So that's why the telcos themselves, they don't charge you. So they use that transaction to send money to others. So they pretend as if they pretend as if the person is with them, is standing there just like you go and say, put money on my wallet. That's what they're doing. So that one is know that he is very much aware that that is wrong. And I'm sure the EMIs have told them, they signed a contract with them, told them the rules. And it's coming from Bank of Ghana. So they are aware. So those things that they are saying that, oh, why are we saying that now? They are aware. We were not aware till this system came in. So that one, that is one. Then the other person is saying that when you go and then you are transferring money to somebody, as I said earlier on, the system looks as if that you are sending money to your own self. That's why we can't charge. He's saying that we should be able to charge that transaction so that people can do that transaction. No.
I think what I heard him say was that you should give a certain threshold. So you can allow the mobile money agent say, okay, you can give the mobile money person up to 500 cedis cash to send on your behalf. After 500 cedis, it's not allowed.
Okay.
That's how I understand.
That's what you understand. But because the system they are using can identify these two transactions. That's why they have a way of doing this thing. Let me tell you, if I go and say I'm sending money, I'm putting money on my wallet, that's allowed. If I say I want to withdraw money on my wallet, it's allowed. Now, the third one, which they are doing, sending money to others, which is not allowed, they are using the first one, sending money onto your own wallet. That's the process they are using to send. So how can GRA know that this one is the same person or is going to another person?
So the mobile money agents are using this to make money?
That's how we see it.
Okay.
And the EMIs, we have told them that they have to make sure that they make it clear. And look as if they don't, some of the agents don't even understand this thing. We are meeting them, as I said, we are going to make it strong. We are asking the Bank of Ghana to come into, to whip them into line because it's illegal.
So Karim from Kumasi, he says, okay, I need to send money. I don't have a mobile money account.
Yeah, then how do you do it? Just like you said that, oh, you want to send money to somebody. Oh, my friend, you have a mobile money account. Can you take the money and say no? That one you can do that, but you can't go to the vendor and do that one.
And you know, creating an account. I mean, I learned this myself a couple of months ago. It's not a difficult process. Yes. So, I think that's the argument from the side of the GRA and the EMI. So, Otis from Kumasi. We are getting quite a number of calls from Kumasi today. Thank you for joining us. Let's hear you.
Morning.
Good morning.
My name is Otis calling from Kumasi.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually appreciate you for such a program and education giving us this very much. My worry is about sending money from your phone to bank or your bank account.
Okay.
The education that you was actually giving us was a bit skeptical, and I would like you to throw more light on it for us to be clear about that. And you were privileged yesterday to have these Information Service Department officials to brief us yesterday in our church.
In your church?
In our church yesterday.
In Kumasi?
I think they are doing very well.
Okay, right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you for confirming that. Emmanuel from Oti region. Emmanuel, how are you?
I'm fine.
Great. Let's hear you.
Yes, please. I want to know, as the man is saying, if the agent helps you to transfer money to someone, is it going to be classified as tax avoidance or is tax evasion? I want to know. And also, the E-levy is not only attached to the mobile money transaction; it's also about bank transactions as well.
Yeah.
So if they are saying you cannot give the money to an agent to send to you, then with the bank transactions, they should make it in a way that maybe you have to put the money into your own bank account before transferring it from your account to someone, instead of maybe depositing it direct into the person's account. If that's what they want to say with the mobile money, then the bank transaction will also be the same. I think that should be the case. If that's what they think, if they think maybe the agent helping you will maybe the agent is helping you to evade tax, then the bank transactions to be in that line. That's what I think.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. I appreciate your call. Do we have another caller on? We want to take a few more, then Mr. Frimpong Danso would answer, then we can wrap up the conversation. If you just joined us, we're talking about the e-levy a month on. We've been trying to get some figures. Unfortunately, we are not being furnished with them today. Mr. Frimpong Danso says that we will get them when the telcos updates GRA on what they've been able to accrue since the e-levy was introduced. Paul is joining us from Western North. Hello, Paul. Let's hear you. Hello, Paul. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Please go ahead. Let's hear you. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, good morning. My question is, hello?
Paul, kindly listen to me on your phone, not on the television, because there's a bit of delay.
Okay,
so...
okay.
Yeah.
Good morning. Hello?
Hello, Paul. I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, good morning. My concern is a question to Mr. Frimpong. He explains, and as we have understood, they've made us understood earlier, that the purpose of the e-levy is to extend the tax. But from the way things are, already those people who are already on the tax net, like government, those on government workers generally, and even those with tax, are also on the same percentage as the general public who are even not already on the levy. I don't know why, because it has been a consent, and people are saying that it appears as if it is double tax. I don't know whether they are doing anything about that one.
All right, Paul. Thank you very much. Well noted. We'll take our last caller, I guess. Eric from Isutari. Let's hear you, Eric.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Dennis. I want to speak with regarding what Mr. Frimpong said, that when an agent, when I decide to go to an agent and then the person wants to put the money on my wallet, there is no going to be any charge. But he made the point also that if I'm sending it to another person, that one will attract a charge. My question is, there is no way I can use the money on my wallet because it's now electronic. I cannot make any use of it without transferring or probably using it to purchase items, which will definitely attract.
Eric.
If I'm sending it to my mom, hello, if I'm sending it to my mom, it is still putting it on her wallet. If I'm sending it to my dad, it is on his wallet, and that wallet will definitely be made use of. The person will make use of the money on the wallet. So it's much ado about nothing. I'm just saying that they are just looking for every means possible to start it. There is still wallet that it is going on to. Thank you so much.
Okay. What I get from this is that the agents are exempt from the e-levy. So that's where the concern is. So if you're exempt, and then you take the cash and you send it from your account as an agent to another, then there's no e-levy charge on that. And so the mobile money agents will be the one benefiting and not government.
Yes.
Okay, so
Even in that one, that transaction is illegal. You see, so let's look at it from the point of view of law. That thing, you are not supposed to do that. So the person doing that one is doing something that is illegal.
Okay.
That's why we don't tax that one, because as you know, cash in, cash out, we don't tax, there's no e-levy.
Okay.
You're not doing transfer, you're just converting money from physical cash into electronic, or converting your electronic money into physical cash.
Okay.
So basically we don't charge.
Okay. Yeah. So there's Otis, there's Emmanuel and Paul, who were, I mean, there's a common denominator, which is from mobile money to bank transactions.
Yes. Let me explain that one. You know, the law says that when you move money from your bank account onto your wallet, it's free. You don't charge the e-levy. Or when you move money from your wallet to bank, your own bank account is free. It's only when you are moving the money from your bank account to another person, then the e-levy comes in. If it's the same person, we don't charge you the e-levy. If you are moving
but
money,
even that there's a threshold, right?
No, the threshold is, that one is bank to
bank, not bank
to wallet. No, so the bank, from your bank to your wallet is still have the 100 Ghana cedis. Okay. So assume you want to transfer, let's say 2,000 from your bank account to my wallet, then it means that the levy will be on 1,900. Maybe if that's the first transaction that you do. Okay. If you are moving money from your wallet to your own bank account. It's free, your own, because it belongs to you. It's only when it's terminating on another person, that is where it comes in. The bank transfer has 20,000 for the whole day, just like the 100 Ghana.
That's bank to bank.
Bank to bank. I'm transferring bank. And that one too, there's a caveat. It must be an instant payment, instant transfer, meaning that as soon as you do the transaction, you have value for that money. So if I do a transaction, some of the app will tell you that this will take, let's say, 5 hours or let's say by close of day. There's no E-levy on that one. And the amount is 20,000 and above. So if I send 20,000 and it's instant, I will not be charged. If I send 21,000, then they will look at the 1,000. Yes. So that's the bank down. The bank too, man, the originating account must be an individual, not a company. So where you say that a company is transferring money from their account to their employees, it's not part of it.
Okay.
It's only the account where it's originating from must be an individual.
Okay. That I didn't know. That's an additional one. So, Edwin from Kaneshi, you are our last caller. Let's hear you quickly, please.
Good morning. My name is Edwin, and thank you for this opportunity. First of all, I would like to, you see, first when the E-levy was not passed, first we were able to do our transactions peacefully. So now that the E-levy has been passed, it seems that it has given GRA the opportunity to scrutinize what transactions and all that. And it sounds very, it sounds very appalling. What exactly is going on? Secondly, GRA, all this that the gentleman is explaining, can't they give us a better education about it? I mean, all this about when I do this, when this is done, it's just confusing, and people would find a way to go around this. Also, when you say this and this is illegal, what punishment or what sanctions do you give to those who are doing the so-called illegal thing? Do you understand? Because for me like this, I'm not really a fan of this E-levy. I've not paid it. Some people are also trying not to pay it, even though you understand what I'm saying. Because the thing is scary. This, that. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Edwin, I get you. Thank you very much for joining us. We are grateful for your contributions and questions. So Edwin talks about education. We've tackled that already. So we are told that there are GRA officials and Information Service Department officials going out. We heard from someone in Kumasi who says his church was visited. So expect more education on this. Then he had concerns about what punishment. If you call it an illegality, then definitely there should be a sanction or a punishment attached.
Yes. And if I this one is not being regulated by GRA. So we expect the Bank of Ghana to come in. And that's why I said we're having a meeting this week. It's going to be a meeting that we are going to address all these issues. Because they are the regulators, and they will come strongly on these EMIs to make sure that the guys are not doing what they are not supposed to do. So that one, we will look at that one. Then somebody was talking about that. It looks as if it's double taxation. People normally use that word, that double taxation. Double taxation is a separate thing that we won't talk about that one. But they are saying that, they are taxing them already, like you pay your PAYE and you are sending money to your mother and they are charging you E-levy like you are paying double tax. It's just like if you go to, let's say, any of the shops to buy something, they charge you VAT. You already have your PAYE you've paid, but they charge you the VAT. So it's in the same vein. It's not anything.
It's not double tax.
It's not the double tax that they are talking about. It's just like when you buy something from any shop and you are paying VAT, because you have paid PAYE, doesn't mean that we exempt you from the VAT.
And what's the PAYE, just so that
the PAYE is your payment. If your employer is paying you, then they deduct some money this is tax, and then they pay to GRA. That's the PAYE. So pay as you earn. That's what it means. Pay as you earn. So if you have big money, you pay more. If you have small money, you pay small. That's how the whole thing is.
Okay. So there's somebody here on Facebook, Nana Edimbia, who is saying that what is being said here is not his reality, because he transferred money from his bank account to his wallet, and he was charged.
Yes, that's why the 1st July common platform will solve all these issues. We have asked them. That's the 1st July thing. As I said, anytime you initiate transaction, it will come to GRA, and the GRA will verify whether it's the same person. They will say don't charge. Now, what the person can do right now is that he can go back to the bank and prove to them that this wallet belongs to me, and therefore they will reverse the charges. You see, and the funny thing we have seen is that somebody will tell you that My bank, I move money from my bank account to my wallet, and they charge me. Meanwhile, the bank has been giving me text messages, SMS. So the bank should know that this wallet belongs to me. So once you go back and tell the bank that, bank, this wallet is mine. You have been sending me a message on that one. They will take the E-levy back and then put it in your account.
Okay.
So we are doing this reverse as.
Okay, so we are also told by some of the banks that there should be an actual connection between the two numbers.
Yes.
So you should actually go to your bank and say, this is my number, this is my mobile money wallet.
Yes, and then using the Ghana card as the sole this identifier.
Grateful that you could join us. Patrick Frimpong Danso is a member of the E-levy Technical Committee at the GRA. We can never exhaust, all the angles when it comes to the E-levy. My colleague Kojo Brace is out, finding out your thoughts also on this. So let's hear from him.
The citizen microphone here on the AM show on JoyNews. Today we're on the street again. It's been almost a month since we started this E-levy implementation. How far has it gone? What's the impact? Has it changed anything 30 days on? Let's speak to you. Let's start out speaking to some Ghanaians on the street. Now, Chief, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
What's your experience with E-levy?
Since they implemented the E-levies, lately I don't send money. I do more of withdrawal than sending money on my phone. And also, I don't see why they implemented the E-levy, because we already been charged for the transfers and the transactions that we do. So at one point, I think 1.5 is too much. Okay. It's too much for us. Yeah.
So you've still not changed the attitude towards it since they implemented?
Oh, no, because they said they are going to use the profits for development and all those stuffs. But we already have resources that gives us a huge amount of monies that we can use in developing the country. So it's not this mobile money E-levy thing that is going to change anything. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. So for him, things haven't changed for him. The way he started is the way he's going 30 days on. He feels that there was no need to have implemented such a levy. Well, let's try and get more people here. Hi, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
We are 30 days into the implementation of E-levy. How do you see it?
Okay, to me, it does not help me because it doesn't make my dad send money to me because of the E-levy. So when I'm come to do practicals, I suffer before getting the money. So to me, the E-levy is no good. Yeah. So president to do something about the E-levy.
So your father is not sending you money because of the E-levy?
Yeah. Yeah, because whenever he sends me, he will send me low, but my practical is high. The money is high because of the E-levy. You have to send me low. Maybe if my practical is 2.5, he's supposed to send me 100 cedis. Small. And the time I can't do my practical because of the E-levy.
So now what he does is that instead of sending you the bulk 250 cedis, he does every day 100 cedis.
Yeah.
So by 3 days, then he'll finish sending you the money.
Yeah, that is what he always do. So the E-levy is not helping me. To me, it doesn't help me at all. So to do something about it for us.
Okay. So you want your parent to change, or you want government to do something?
I want the government to do something.
But you don't want your father to do something?
No, because it's not for my father. Because when I was coming to school, my father sent everything equal. Because when the E-levy came, it was something problem. So our president should do something for us.
Okay, all right. So there you have it. She also feels that, look, because of E-levy, her father breaks the thing down, and it's not helping her. Chief, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good. You are into the coconut selling.
Coconut.
Great. 30 days on since we implemented E-levy. How do you see it?
Oh, there's no, for me, I see like there's no side effect. There's no effect because it's like don't deposit anything into your account. Just hold your money in hand and go to the merchant and then let the merchant send to you. That's all. So don't do anything like deposit into your account on phone. That's all. That's my idea.
Oh, so you have not been depositing?
I don't deposit into my account.
You rather go to the merchant and say, okay, send to my father, send to my mother.
That's all.
Oh.
Okay.
That's your coping mechanism.
Yeah, that's me. And moreover, too, I don't send more than 100 Ghana. At least less than 100 Ghana, then I'm done.
But if you do that, you're not paying taxes on the e-levy.
Yeah, I don't pay anything on the e-levy. Normal charges.
Oh. But why? You don't want the state to get money to do?
No, not the state, but actually, like, it will affect me, so I wouldn't do it. That's all. Oh. Yeah, so I wouldn't deposit anything into my account. Okay. Yeah. So, and moreover, if somebody deposits money into your account, don't send it on your phone. Go to the merchant so that the merchant will withdraw for you, and at the same time to you, send it to the person that you want to send it to, so that you'll be free.
Now you are spreading a bad idea.
Oh, that one will be less cost.
But so then you are denying the state from getting resources from e-levy to do the development they want.
Educating the state too. I'm also educating the state so that they will not go into much cost. Okay. So that's all.
All right, so that's his plan there. Let's try and speak to more people. But once we are done with those who are sending the monies, let's try and speak to a merchant to find out more. Chief, I don't know, can our cameras get him in there? We do, great. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
By His Almighty grace, I'm doing well.
30 days into the implementation of e-levy, how's it going?
Oh, it's not bad, but the challenge we are now facing is that people are refusing to do deposits onto their phones because they don't want to pay the e-levy tax. That is the challenge we are having. You know, when MTN and the other networks give us the SIM, we are supposed to load their wallets so that they do the sending from their phones to the recipients they are sending to. That is the idea of mobile money. We don't have to send money to recipients. We should only deposit to the person, the customer standing in front of us. That is the main agenda. But since the e-levy came, it has changed. They are refusing to deposit the money onto their phones. They are refusing to deposit the money onto their phones. That is the idea now. You see, when they come, instead of them to give us their numbers, they tell us they are doing deposits, but they rather give us the numbers that they are sending to. You see, which is also not the best way. So for me, I don't know how it will be done because I'm not a lawmaker, and I don't know how the authorities also see it. But right now, that is the routine going on in the system now. It's only few people do the deposit onto their phones. We sometimes tell them that the e-levy is such that your first 100 cedis a day is free. So even if you are doing a transaction of 100 cedis less, you can deposit on your phone and send because it's free, they'll deduct free. Only few people take that advice. Most of them gives us the recipient they want to deliver the money to, then we send. You see, so that is what is going on in the system.
Oh, okay. So in this instance, in a day, if say 100 people come to do transactions, how many of them do what you're talking about?
I can strike it like, let's say 20. 20 only do deposit onto their phones.
80 do
mostly, yes.
Wow.
Yes, that is what is.
And then on that, they are not paying taxes.
That is how I will call it. Yeah, it's only few. So out of 100, like you said, it's let's say 80-20. Only 20 load onto their phone. You see, and it's also against our work because normally. You see, we are being paid on commission basis. Our turnover that we do, that's what we pay. And they always tell us that when we don't do direct deposits, our commission will not yield what we expected to yield. So it's also affecting us.
Okay.
That is
so if that's the case, why are you sending on their behalf?
You see, we don't intentionally send on their behalf. They are not transparent to us. When they come to us, they don't tell us they are sending. Okay. You know, on our phone, we don't have send on our phone. Okay. The menu that we use to do transactions, there is nothing called send. Okay. It is deposit. Okay. Because that is how they design the whole thing. Okay. People should deposit on their phone. You see, so whatever, we cannot tell, you see, but you see, normally what makes us know that it is not because the names that they mention, let's say, supposing I know that, or I know you are a male, then you give me a number which comes with a female name. Obviously, it is not your name, but you told me you are doing deposit, but you've already done it. You see, and you can't deny him also. You see, that is another thing that some of them will say, oh, my sister just sent me, she's in the house. So she said I should put it on her phone. Okay. And you can't deny that she should bring their phone and other things, you know. Sometimes we respect them because when they are not there, we are also not there. We are working in hand with them. So sometimes we just have to respect some of the things that they say ahead. Interesting.
Okay, all right. So is there any based on your experience, any advice you would give the GRA and government as to how they can help reverse this trend?
Actually, it is challenging. You know, I don't know the research they did before they brought in this tax. You understand? I don't know how well they did their research to know how people do transactions in the market. So I cannot advise so much because for me, before such implementation will come on, although it is very beneficial to the country, I'll make sure that I'll look at the trend at which people do transaction. You see, there are a lot of uneducated people in the system who don't know how to send money from their phones. You see, so mostly, instead of them to do the sending from their phones, we used to send for them. You see, sometimes we load the phone and we take the phone from them and we do the sending. You see, so that was what we were doing it before. When the person comes, we load the number, especially those that don't know how to do the sending. When we load onto their phone, whoever they want to send it, they give us the number, and then we do from their phone. You see, so after this has come.
So we have to come back into the studio to wrap up this conversation, but let me just say that it's interesting how this mobile money vendor confirms what you were saying. And this is random person we are speaking to who's confirmed. He wasn't even listening into the show to know what we were talking about. So he's confirming what Mr. Frimpong Danso said. He says they aren't supposed to send cash. All they're supposed to do is deposit on your account or in your wallet. So like you mentioned, you're hoping to roll out a certain technology that will check whether the phone or the number receiving the deposit is within the radius of the phone sending it. So if it is not, it means the transaction will fail.
And that one is being done in some of the African countries. And I think, you know, when you leave it in the hands of human beings, they will try to cut corners. With the technology, you cannot do anything about that. Just like when I'm calling your phone and you are sitting by me and your phone is off, you say, I cannot reach you. So we are going to employ that technology to try to stop these things.
We appreciate your time this morning. Patrick Frimpong Danso is a member of the E-levy Technical Committee at the GRA. We've been talking about the E-levy's implementation a month on. I know you have a lot of questions. We will have him again, or a member of the committee soon, once they are done with that meeting with the EMIs. We want to know how much the government has been able to make since the E-levy was implemented, and whether we can tell if we'll meet our target at the end of the year. Grateful that you could also join us with your comments. Don't go away. When we come back, I'll be hosting the Akosombo International School. It's 60 years, and well, we have a lot to celebrate. More later on the show. Do stay. Thank you so much for staying on the AM show. Remember, before we took that break, I told you that the Akosombo International School is 60 years, and I said we have a lot to celebrate. You don't get to do this every time. I'm an old student of Akosombo International School, so yeah, we have a lot to celebrate. And today I'm joined by fellow old students of Akosombo International School, and just on my left, immediate left, is Larry Sisu. He is a valuation and estate surveyor, and he completed in 1984. Yeah. And Suzette Sapo, Sapo rather. She's a chartered accountant and completed in 2005. Great to have you all here.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. Truth is our light, isn't it?
Truth definitely is our light.
And I'll not tell you the year I completed, but yeah, I'm an old student and I'm a broadcast journalist. So let's talk about AIS at 60. If AIS were a human being, we would say we would be retiring, you know, sitting back to look at all you've achieved over the years. What does AIS mean for you?
For me, the AIS that I know is everything. That is what shaped my life, because at my formative years, I got into the school and really shaped me for life and for the future. So AIS meant everything to me. Everything.
What about you, Suzette?
Okay, so most of my basic education, or most of my basic life, that is where I learned most of these things. AIS taught me so much. My confidence, my courage, the integrity I have, or I know I have, etc. You know, punctuality, everything. I got all this training from AIS.
And talking about the foundation, and I'm really struggling hard not to do this because I'm supposed to be hosting them, but it's my school, so I would also have something to share. It's one of the strongest foundations that I ever had. And my sister and myself, Zoe, is also an old girl, an old student of, we've been talking about that, how all the education we received from AIS helped us, shaped us. When we went to high school, I mean, you could tell there was a difference because the foundation was right. Yeah. So there's a lot to celebrate. There's so many people who came out of AIS. There are many names we can mention. Samira Baumia is one of us. And,
sure.
Yeah, we have a thing, because she went to AIS and Infantiban, and I went to AIS and Infantiban. So. and there's so many more. Tell us at 60 what we're doing to commemorate Larry.
So I'm sure Suzette will start that,
sure.
and then...
Sure. Okay, so tomorrow, that's the 31st of May, 2002, we have the anniversary launch at the National Theatre in Accra, 9 a.m. Then on the 17th of June, in the Akosombo Township, there's an awareness creation, an event, to commemorate the, to create an awareness. And then on the 18th of June, there's also going to be a tree planting in the Akosombo Township. On the 24th of June, there's going to be a quiz between AIS and Abuadze, which is also a sister school, also in Akosombo. Then the 24th June, so the 24th June, it's going to be the quiz in between AIS and then Abuadze. And then 2nd of July, that's where we are given the opportunity to invite our family members to celebrate with us. So there's going to be a sponsored walk and then a family fun day at the Aviation Social Center. So on the 11th of July, there's going to be a sports competition between AIS and then Akwamuman. A medical outreach at Ajena. Is Ajena?
Yes, yes,
okay,
yes.
so Ajena is close to Ajena is close to Akosombo. Yeah, so we're going to have a medical outreach on the 30th of July, 2022.
Okay.
Then Sunday.
On Sunday, I know that's the one that a lot of people will be excited about.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes.
Sunday, 7th August.
So that is when we're going to have the cruise on the Dodi. And you know, any cruise on the Dodi is never to be missed. So on Sunday, the 7th of August, that is the D-Day. We're going to have a cruise on the Dodi. And then on the 1st of October, we have the anniversary dinner dance. And we climax the anniversary between the 24th to 30th of October, when we have the ISOSA Congress, the fun games, the speech and prize giving ceremony, the whole school jam, the Thanksgiving service, the sword cutting ceremony for the multi-purpose gymnasium. That's something that the Old Students Association is taking on board as a project. And then also we present a bus, one of the projects of the Old Student Association as well. So it's going to be spanning over a long time, from tomorrow all the way up to somewhere end of October. And that is when we're going to have lots and lots and lots of fun.
Okay. Talking about the gymnasium reminds me of my time. I was a gymnast, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which Mr. I was in Kaiser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I did it for the school.
Oh, okay.
So Mr. Sambru, Mr. Sari, they were all my PE teachers. I know some of you are wondering how that's possible. Yes, I could cartwheel. I can still cartwheel. I wish I could demonstrate it, but I didn't bring my proper kit. So, you know, truth is our light. That's a very profound motto. And when you go to the senior high schools, people pride themselves in mentioning, you know, like Infantiman or Branyawarab, or, you know, and the other schools would also mention theirs. How has truth is a light shaped you? How has it impacted you?
For me, truth is what has been my guiding principle in life. No matter what it will cost me, I will still stand by the truth. And when we talk about light, light gives illumination. And wherever there is darkness, we shine the light. And so the two brought together, truth is our light. It's a principle in life that has guided me through and through. Because, you know, you go to places and people want to cut corners, people want to do all sorts of things. But that which was embedded in my brain, in my mind from Akosombo International School has guided me through and through. So no matter what it would cost, I'll stand by the truth and I'll be a light wherever I am.
What about you, Suzette?
Okay, so as a chartered accountant, you know, our motto also is integrity. So I'm going to link integrity to truth. So basically, if you don't, or if I never ever, you know, gone through AIS to learn all these things, to possess this quality of truth, there's no way I believe I could have grown up to become the chartered accountant I am today. So as Larry is also saying, you don't need to cut corners, you need to be transparent in all you do, so that at the end of the day, you know, you don't get into any trouble anywhere you find yourself.
Okay, so let's talk about the key achievements, notable personalities from Akosombo International School. Let me start with you, Larry.
Okay, so I'm sure you rightly mentioned the second lady, Samira, passed through the walls of Akosombo International School. We have quite a number of them. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Shelley, also passed through the walls of Akosombo International School. And there are quite a number of them. I'll just mention a few.
Okay.
We have the Rector of Ghana Institute of Journalism, Professor Kwamna Kwansa Edu, also an old student. Then the Vice Chancellor of SD Dombo University of Business and Integrated Studies, Professor Philip Duku Osei, who happens to be a mate of mine. We were in the school together, the same class. We sat in the same class. And then the Registrar of Academic City University, Kukwa Nyakum. And then the Head of Department of Surgery, Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Lily Ponchowu. And not the last but not the least, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Frank Hansen, who was a year out of, actually was the one who took care of me when I was in school. Like, you know, when you get to school, there are people who have to help you with all your stuff.
I think I'd like to say the interesting thing about AIS is that you had, at the time I was there, you had the primary school, the junior high, and the senior high school all on the same campus. So when you spoke about taking care of, my mind just went to how, you know, the older folks were always looking out for the very little ones and always making sure that we were safe. That's one interesting thing about AIS. But I mean, in wrapping up the conversation, what's your fondest memory?
My fondest memory of AIS, I mean, it's a lot. So I'm just trying to figure out what the fondest memory is. Probably, in our time, it was a very small community. In fact, the entire school, both the boarders and the day students, I think we were about 120.
And were you only high school, or you had junior and
yes,
high?
We had what we call the grade school. So that was the primary school.
Okay.
So you go from grade 1 to grade 6, and then you come to Form 1 at a time.
Okay.
Form 1 to Form 5. So it was a very small community, and we knew ourselves. It was just like a family, because you could relate to each and every person on a family basis. And most of the people there were actual bloodline families, you know, because you had parents who work in VRA and the rest having their kids there. So it was a community, a family community. And I mean, when parents come to visit, we share just like a family, because it was a very close family. And that was, I think it's one of the things that really I cherished during my time in AIS.
Suzette?
Okay, my fondest memory. I don't know if I should say this on air, but I think I should. Okay, so it was during a rehearsal that we had for one of our nights, and I was part of the team, you know, dancing. So here I was, we were supposed to jump over a chair. This team had some panels on there, and then a couple of us were 10 ladies dancing. So I jump and then I slip, and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here? It was so embarrassing. But yeah, I think I was able to overcome all that.
Yeah.
But then, as he's also saying, AIS has never been a big school. We've always been
a family.
A family, just a few of us. Everybody knows everybody throughout, from grade school to the SHS. Everybody, you know, all behaving like a family, all living together as a family, and it has helped us throughout the years till now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so talking about that, I was in school at that time. I'm not too sure if I remember that scene about you falling. But mentioning some panels in means that we were all there around that time. You were my seniors. So yes. I left in junior high, level 2, JHS 2. And I have a lot of fond memories. Mr. Siam's wife's bread after prep.
Nice pie and drink.
Yeah, pie and like there's just so much. The food was so good. I mean, great memories from Akosombo International School. But the big news is that, yes, the school turns 60, and we are launching that event tomorrow at the National Theatre. The special guest of honor is Engineer Emmanuel Intridakwa. He's Chief Executive of the Volta River Authority. Professor Kwamna Kwansa Edu, who's been mentioned. He is the Rector of the Ghana Institute of Journalism. He will be our guest speaker. And the chairperson is Professor Mrs. Cynthia Aminin Dankwa. She's Associate Professor, Pharmacology Department, College of Health Sciences at the KNUST. So we are using this to call all old students of AIS. Please, let's come and support our school. Let's come and give back to the school that has molded us, and we are so proud of. I mean, anytime I mention AIS, I get, you know, a very nice feeling inside of me. It's just, the nostalgia is just beautiful. I love it. So please come and let's support our school. And your final words as we end.
So I just want to invite all ISOSANs to be part of all the celebrations right from tomorrow till the end of October. Every activity that has been lined up, we invite all and sundry to be part. Let's have fun. Let's share memories. Let's relive our time in the school together. So I invite all ISOSANs to be part of the celebration.
Yes, especially my mates. I started in 2005, so shout out to all of you. And I'm hoping to see my juniors, my seniors, and my mates. Come and let's have fun. Let's make this very commemorative.
And I'm hoping to see my teachers. I know Miss Anim is now.
Oh, okay.
The headmistress. She taught me French.
Yeah. That's Sarah?
Yes.
Sarah.
Sorry, Miss Anim. I lost it all, the French. I can remember a few lines, but it'll be a great occasion, so do make it a day. Thank you once again for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
And don't forget, keep it locked tomorrow, and do attend at the National Theatre if you're an old student. Well, before we go, water is life, and water regulates your body temperature and keeps you alive and kicking. Awake is premium purified water treated through strict purification process to ensure that every bottle on the market refreshes you better. We have the perfect size for every occasion: 330 and 500 ml bottles to fit your pockets and bags, 750 ml for the heavy drinkers, and 1.5 liters for those who always want more. We have also introduced our special 19-liter jars for offices and homes. Now you just need to stay awake with Awake Purified Drinking Water wherever you go. Come on, grab a bottle of Awake Water and get quality hydration. Awake Purified Drinking Water, one for life. Remember, for every bottle you purchase, an amount is donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. It's produced by Casapreco. Please call 026-235-1251 for bulk purchases. And do you know that the income of a young entrepreneur from some selected businesses is exempt from tax for 5 years? Yes, it is. Any young entrepreneur engaged in manufacturing, information and communications technology, agro-processing, energy production, waste processing, tourism and creative arts, horticulture and medicinal plants does not need to pay income tax on these activities for their first 5 years of operation. A young entrepreneur engaged in business that enjoys an initial 5-year concession benefits from the following applicable tax rates for an additional 5 years. Accra and Tema, 15%. Other regional capitals outside the 3 northern regions, 12.5%. Outside other regional capitals, 10%. The 3 northern regions, 5%. For further clarity and information, please contact your nearest GRA office, Ghana Revenue Authority, Integrity, Fairness and Service. And just so you know, the same income, asset or financial transaction can be taxed by 2 or more jurisdictions. This is known as double taxation. Double taxation treaties, as DTT, allow income recipients to offset the tax already paid on investment income in another country against their tax liability in the country of residence. And well, before I go, one last message for you. Under the Planned Cities Extension Project, it's offering you the very best of progressive and flexible way of owning your home in Ghana. Rent to own a 2, 3 or 4 bedroom house or beachfront villa in the new Accra city. Cities and habitats rent to own at a price you can afford and at a pace you can pay. Visit www.newaccra.city for more details or call or WhatsApp 055 5530 0577 911 101 0557 054 635. The Planned Cities Extension Project, shaping Ghana's urban future. And that's how we end this edition of the AM Show. Really grateful that you can make time. Myself and Benjamin will be back, God willing, tomorrow to send you the very best. And you know, it's worth waking up for. Happy birthday to Benson Affle. You are the Managing Editor, Business 24 online newspaper. From your wife, Dorcas Jedu Afrimpong Affle of Results Advertising. Do take care. If today's your birthday as well, we also wish you a very happy birthday. Do stay. Aisha Ibrahim is next with News Desk at 12. We'll bring you the major bulletin. Thank you for joining.